Good afternoon, everyone. Now, good season is coming. मौसम अच्छा हो रहा है. ऐसे मौसम में कुछ करने का मन नहीं करता है. बस केवल खाओ और सो जाओ. वो कहाँ गया? वो क्या नाम है? हाँ, विवेक. विवेक क्या नाम है वो? ओडिया ओडिया दैट सिद्धार्थ. हाँ. आज लगता है वो सो रहा होगा खा के. कल कल आया था वो. हाँ, कल आके मुझसे डाउट पूछ के गया वो. अच्छा, from the UPSC point of view, so in biology part, ठीक है. एक तो the area which I covered that time last time, nervous system and all this, save and health part of it, health and disease part. अच्छा, health and this disease part, what I've done is that अभी एक और बैच में बायोलॉजी चल रहा है. दिस योर RB1. ये RB1 है. RB2 बैच का भी चल रहा है. तो मैंने RB2 बैच में आई हैव प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर बैक्टीरियल, वायरल, फंगल, वो सारा मैंने प्रिपेयर किया है. सेम डॉक्यूमेंट आई विल अपलोड हियर इन दिस बैच ऑल्सो अबाउट द डिजीज पार्ट. एक मैंने बताया था कि वन क्वेश्चन कम्स इन द एग्जाम फ्रॉम द डिजीज पार्ट, राइट. सो दिस विल बी you'll get the information there. This which I covered the last time in the classroom, the basic concept, you will be getting that one. Now, in terms of human physiology, there is one topic which we'll cover in today's class, the first topic, that is where a question in the exam can be asked, that is in terms of endocrine system. We'll be covering the endocrine system. Right, one part will be endocrine system. In terms of the hormones. Right. Just take one example. I'm taking one question here. Which of the following pairs is or correctly matched? Right. And let's say if I give you this option there, hormone, right? One way can be the name of the hormone, endocrine gland, that can be given. Let's say, for example, I'm giving you this choice, endocrine gland, right? And let's say first one, insulin, right? And I'm giving here, this is a pancreas, which you all are aware of this. So sometimes in the exam, what happens? Something you are aware, something you are, if you have not read, you are not aware, and the option can be there. Let's say second, glucagon, right? And I'm giving here kidney. Number third, oxytocin, right? Here I'm giving the ovary, correct? And you have the choice here, let's say A, 1 only, B, 1 and 2 only, C, 1, 2 and 3, and D, none. Let's say you get a question of this kind. UPSC can ask this kind of question. So what do you think? That those who have the background, they may be aware of it. But let's say you get a question where first time you come across such kind of question. See, UPSC question will be always of this kind. Or I could have done one thing more. In place of endocrine gland, another way of asking question could be what? The function of the hormone. That can also be asked in the exam. Okay? So what do you think that? What should we answer here? That's why first I took the question, just to make you aware. Then I'll give you all the facts, all the information there. How many of you think A as an answer? One only, insulin, pancreas. Okay. So what is wrong there, Dr. Saab? Glucagon. Very good. Since he is aware, that's what I've asked him there. So we'll learn in today's class. Now look at here. This is wrong because it's not kidney, it's the pancreas. And I'll give you detail of that. What is detail here? Pancreas has got 3 types of cells, alpha, beta and delta. Right? We'll be learning to this. Just let me explain orally there. Alpha cells of Langerhans, you know what comes Langerhans, that releases glucagon. Now, glucagon increases blood glucose level, releases glucose into the blood. कहाँ से आता है? Glycogen. Glucose converted glycogen gets converted into that. Beta cells of Langerhans, that is insulin, which decreases blood sugar. The level is decreased. Excess sugar gets into glycogen and stored in the liver. That comes into insulin, right? There is a delta cell which also releases a hormone, right, which control both the hormones, insulin and glucagon. What is the name of the hormone? Somatostatin. तो ये जो वर्ड मैं यूज कर रहा हूँ, somatostatin, glucagon, insulin, organs there, these all are the facts which you have to remember for the examination. So that's what I say this is wrong. If I would have given here pancreas, or I would have given alpha cells of pancreas, then it would have been correct. Now coming to oxytocin, there is one gland which was studied from the brain part. It's just like P-shaped. हाँ कौन से सेल के? नहीं मैं भी सारा चीज़ में आऊँगा मैं I'll be coming to everything. मैं भी सारा पे बताऊँगा मैंने बताया कि पैंक्रियाज का 3 सेल्स हैं, अल्फा सेल, बीटा सेल एंड डेल्टा सेल. अल्फा सेल रिलीज करता है ग्लूकागोन. क्या करता है ग्लूकागोन? ग्लूकोज, अगर ब्लड में ग्लूकोज कम हो जाए तो रिलीज करता है वो. लीवर में ग्लाइकोजन होता है वो रिलीज होता है. बीटा सेल्स ऑफ लैंगरहैंस मैंने बताया था, उसका मतलब क्या है? बीटा सेल्स लैंगरहैंस कि जो ब्लड में ग्लूकोज ज़्यादा हो जाए तो उसको कम करता है, इंसुलिन, द रोल ऑफ इंसुलिन कम्स. और एक मैंने नाम बताया सोमैटोस्टैटिन, मैं लिखवाऊंगा सारा. सोमैटोस्टैटिन कंट्रोल्स बोथ ग्लूकागोन को भी और इंसुलिन को भी, बोथ फंक्शन कम्स, राइट. तो व्हाट आई वांट टू से, व्हेन अ क्वेश्चन कम्स ऑफ दिस काइंड यू शुड बी अवेयर ऑफ दिस फैक्ट्स. ठीक है. नाउ ऑक्सीटोसिन, व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ ऑक्सीटोसिन? What function oxytocin has got? It is called birth hormone. Birth. It helps in contraction of uterus. जन्म जब होता है बच्चे के जन्म के समय, contraction of uterus in terms of giving birth is also called in terms of oxytocin. And oxytocin is a kind of female sex hormone, right? And this is what I said. There is a one gland in the brain called pituitary gland. So here this is also wrong. Pituitary glands. What is called as a master gland. Pituitary gland is called master gland. Why it is called master gland? Because it releases hormones to control other endocrine glands. Right? You know that there are number of, let's say for oxytocin, as I said, birth hormone. So that is in terms of controlling those kind of thing what happens during the time of the pregnancy and after that pregnancy part. That comes into that. Though ovary is also as an organ, endocrine. It has also got endocrine function. So what I just want to make you aware, to begin with the topic, that when a question of this kind will come, if you have the prior information, then only you can take a question as option there. You cannot make a guesswork, because there will be a chances of getting it wrong. Sometimes you may have a kind of guesswork which may be helpful, like one only as a insulin. You are aware, but not about this one. But UPSC can give here something which may be correct also. Right? तो वहाँ guesswork नहीं कर सकते आप. So that's what I say. What we have to learn in the endocrine system, we have to learn about what is the function of endocrine system, what are hormones, the functions of the hormones. Right? That part is there. Now after this, what I'll do here is that one topic we'll learn about this in the classroom. Second topic which I'm going to cover, so I'll just remove this one. We will go into the topic of digestive system. Again, the basic thing about digestive system, we'll learn about the here digestion part, and particularly again in terms of here enzymes. There are number of enzymes which are involved. What are enzymes? Biological catalyst, which breaks down food material, carbohydrate or fats or proteins, right? What comes from anatomy? The detailed structured part, right from the mouth till the small intestine, large intestine, and the anus. That's the anatomy part comes. Then again remember, UPSC is not going to ask you anatomy, but again still I will discuss in the classroom so that you are aware of those names. Mostly the question which will come will be based on these enzymes. So I'm making it more relevant as well. Arey, Siddharth aa gaya. I was remembering you. ठीक है, what is the question you get in terms of enzymes, digestive enzymes, and some basic concept linked with system that can be asked. Next, we will learn about excretory system. I'll go into the excretory system. Now here, what you have to learn from part of it is very small one, it's not very detailed one, how the filtration happens of the waste material, the body's waste material, nitrogenous waste, let's say urea and all this, how they get filtered through the kidney and then it is excreted out of the body. So there, in terms of excretory system, we'll learn about the kidney and basic part of it, the kidney function in terms of what is called osmoregulation, filtration, absorption, certain process we'll look into that. Again, it is not a big topic, it is a small topic. It's a basic understanding is required, right? Now, after these three systems, I will also go into a topic of here respiration, respiratory system. Respiratory system linked with circulatory system, circulation part, like blood and this movement of blood through heart and the organs. So there can be a part of what you have to know, certain terms like in terms of how the oxygen or carbon dioxide, that movement from the lungs and the capillary, the blood vessel takes place. What is the mechanism for it? Right, that part we'll cover in the classroom there. So these are the first aspect of the human physiology. Now in the plant physiology, here remember that in plant physiology, again from the examination perspective, you have to just know from certain anatomical perspective. In medical exams and other exams, there the question is asked about root system in terms of modification, stem modification, but few basic things we'll cover in the classroom about this one. And what I'm going to cover here, two important topics. So we'll learn two important topics. One is that photosynthesis, right? In terms of the photosynthesis, will come into that. And apart from photosynthesis, we will also discuss another important topic for examination, that is in terms of the plant hormones, phytohormones, how the growth and development in plants are controlled through hormones. There might be again a question asked in the UPSC exam. So we'll learn about here term plant hormones, or I'm using a word phytohormones. There are phytohormones there, plant hormones, like for example, auxin, cytokinins, gibberellins. What are those hormones? What is their function? We'll learn from this part, right? Another thing is that in the biology part, what we have to go into that, apart from plant physiology and this, I have said in the classroom that I will also go to the topic of genetics. And one aspect genetics will be what? Genetic disorder, diseases. See, one aspect which you'll find in biology book is that was classical genetics. You'll come across the classical genetics, right? And there comes Gregor Mendel, Mendelian laws of inheritance. So let me just write here, Mendel's laws of inheritance. That is one thing you'll find in the biology book there. Classical genetics, right? But there can be, question, remember that in genetics, I'll give you one very simple example, which was asked in UPSC paper. There was a question asked that blood group of the children were given. I think 2011 paper is, you'll find that. Blood group children were given and blood group of the parent, right? And it was asked that whether a child, three children were there, the blood group was given and the father and mother was given. And the question was asked whether that child, a third child, is a biological child or adopted child. Now, how it can be possible? That's in the blood group. Blood group is again based on genetic aspect. What I discussed last time, ABO. A blood, A antigen, B antigen, those part of that. So that was the question asked, which is what called, when you learn about Mendel's laws, 3 laws of inheritance, and particularly remember that UPSC will not ask you the laws. They will not be asked in the exam. Sometimes application of the laws can be there. Like how when crossing takes place and when go to next generation, traits. So how that can be worked out? Again, remember, we don't have to go to mathematics and equation part, but basic understanding is required here. And another thing, what I've said here, genetic disorder. That can be a part of the question in the exam, like Down syndrome or Klinefelter's or Turner syndrome, hemophilia. The what causes that, and what is the concept part from the genetics comes there. That you have to be aware of, right? So since we are meeting after gap, that's what I first put across the topics there, what we are going to cover in the class, right? So I'm trying to cover the maximum thing and making it more streamlined for the examination point of view, so that you are aware of it. Now, last time I said about NCERT book, right? And I know that since now October is going to be over, ठीक है? Honeymoon period अब खत्म हो रहा है, so now the November is going to be there. And then after that, Santa will come there, 25th December. उसके बाद 1st January, right? उसके बाद Valentine's Day will be there. Then there will be Holi will come there, right? Right, Rang De Basanti, Holi will come there. Then as the summer will come there, right? Then in that mid of the summer, as the summer recedes, and Megha, where the Megha will come there, right? June there, you will be writing the exam there, right? तो ऐसे मौसम आ रहे हैं अभी हर all these events are going to take place. तो अब वो what is the time there to go to a out of the hibernation mode, right? Active mode में आना जरूरी हो गया, ठीक है? तो इसके लिए यही है कि whatever I am teaching here classroom, particular for prelims exam, right? This will not in the mains exam. So you should be in a position that 3, 4, 5 questions जो भी पूछ दे यूपीएससी, you are able to solve that, right? So keeping that point, NCERT is all right, but I know that कहना बहुत अच्छा होता है क्लास 6 to 10th NCERT, 11th and 12th math, but in reality I know that जिसका background नहीं है उनके लिए तो बहुत बड़ा पहाड़ है कि how to read the 6th and 10th, right? So मैं बता रहा हूँ, इससे अच्छा है अगर NCERT आपके पल्ले नहीं पड़ता है तो there is one NIUS, National Institute of Open Schooling, ठीक है? वहाँ simple language है. Again you have to do away with lot of things of that which is not required in the exam, ठीक है? तो वो पार्ट डोंट वरी, मैं हूँ ना, तो अब तब तक है तो पहले साइंस टेक का किया, फिर अब साइंस का पार्ट आ रहा है, तो आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू गेट इनटू दैट पार्ट विच कैन हेल्प यू दैट, राइट? तो डोंट वरी, अब आई विल कम टू दैट. नाउ आई विल आस्क समवन हु, नाउ वन इज डॉक्टर साहब नोज एवरीथिंग, राइट? आई विल आस्क अदर्स. अपने भाई नहीं है भाई को ना. Okay, what are hormones there? Simple question. What are hormones? क्या है हार्मोन, क्या है? हाँ, kind of stimulator or a single signal sent to the brain. Okay, anything else? Basic understanding, but just a basic understanding. If you have to define hormone, what is hormone there? Protein, okay. Anything else? Though what I said, UPSC will not ask you to define hormone or endocrine system. There's just a basic understanding. What we have to know, hormone gland, their function, and any deficiency, any disorder comes there. That's what I'm going to cover in the classroom.
Stimulating growth.
Stimulating growth. Only growth? Functions also. Okay. So let me just first put across. What is a hormone? Hormone is a chemical messenger. So it's said to be chemical messenger. It can be protein or peptide. It can be steroid, right? It can be even sometimes a lipids molecule also. What is a hormone? Hormone is a chemical messenger secreted by endocrine gland, which is a ductless gland. I'll give you written part. First understand. मैं पहले कुछ समझाऊंगा. मेरा मोड ऐसा रहेगा. मैं समझाऊंगा. Write something on the whiteboard. You'll have something on the visual aspect. At the same time, the written part. So what is that? Secreted by endocrine gland, ductless gland, directly into the blood, which goes to a target cell and they do the work, the activation part of it, right? Now hormone part, now you can write there, something you will write, then I'll come back to the whiteboard here.
Only endocrine gland, only endocrine system secrete
Hormones, huh?
So exocrine.
Now exocrine gland could also be there. Endocrine we say ductless gland. What he has asked, is it only the, see, remember that when you talk about organ can have two types of glands.
Exocrine means doctor.
I'll come to that. An organ is two types. There are two types of glands, exo and endo, right? So let's say kidney. Kidney is an organ. So what is the role of kidney? Excretion. But it is also an endocrine gland because it also secretes hormones which can control in terms of the functional excretion or other thing can be there, right? So it could be both. Any organ which has exocrine, endocrine can be both. But mostly, again remember that hormones are linked with endocrine gland. It is always said endocrine system. You'll never come across exocrine system. Though a particular organ can be both. It can have exocrine which is closed, which are closed. Why it is called endocrine? Because this goes directly to the bloodstream. And through the blood it goes to the target. Right? That's what is called endocrine. What is the question? You are only endocrine. The hormones comes from the endocrine system. That's what you have to know. I'll come to that. You can write there. After understanding your concept, then I'll come to the facts part. That is, hormones are right. Hormones are secretions. Hormones are secretions from specific cells. Hormones are secretions from specific cells or glands in the body that are carried specific cells or glands in the body that are carried by the blood. Now give a full stop there. Their effect is produced in one or more specific parts only. Give full stop there. Most hormones are secreted by special glands. Most hormones are secreted by special glands called the endocrine glands. Meaning called the endocrine glands, meaning, now you write in inverted commas, meaning secrete, S-E-C-R-E-T, secrete internally, inverted commas closed, right? After that, same paragraph, right? These are, T-H-E-S-E, these are also called ductless glands. These are also called ductless glands. These are also called ductless glands because their secretions are released directly. Their secretions are released directly into the blood. Released directly into the blood. Give a full stop there, into the blood. Now, I'm asking a question. What is the nature and what is the function you understood that? What is the one function, what Siddharth was saying there? But see, remember that it's not that only in terms of one function. Hormones can regulate the entire body physiology. Human physiology part of that question what I've written there, ovary and all this function. The number of functions are controlled by the hormone. They are very, very less. I'll just say 1 out of 300 million parts. Their concentration is not very high, but they are biologically very active. Right? They are active in terms of their functions and roles there. Right? So I'll just come to that. Just give a title, then I'll come to the hormone and the gland. Just give a title, nature and function of hormones. Nature and function of hormones. Right, first one. First one you write. They regulate the physiological processes. They regulate the physiological processes. They regulate the physiological processes. Number two, second, they are produced in very small quantities. They are produced in very small quantities and are very small quantities and are biologically very active and are biologically very active. Now third point, their THEIR, their excess, EXCESS, excess and deficiency, their excess and deficiency, comma, both, comma, cause serious disorders. Their excess and deficiency, comma, both, cause serious disorders. Right? Now you can write this. Two more points into that. Chemically, next point, chemically, comma, they may be water soluble. Chemically, they may be water soluble proteins. They may be water soluble proteins or peptides, comma, give a comma, glycoproteins, GLYCOPROTEINS, glycoproteins and amines, AMINES, and amines, AMINES, or lipid soluble steroids, STEROIDS, lipid soluble steroids. Right, amines, AMINES, or lipid soluble steroids. This is the concept part. What I'm giving the written part is the concept part. If a question comes in the UPSC or any exam, so this has to remember. And last point you write, let me ask, do they remain in the body forever? Let's say we have taken lunch, all the food has gone there. So what will happen? The insulin will be there. Then what will happen there? Where the insulin goes? That insulin which convert glucose, so it will remain in the blood. Then does it remain always? See, pancreas keep on secreting insulin. So what happens after that? Those insulin which is there in the blood and convert the excess blood sugar into the glycogen. Then उसके बाद क्या होता है insulin का? Does it remain in the blood or what happens there? Is excreted out, right? Hormones and all, they don't remain there. They get excreted out, right? So all this endocrine system, what we have, they release based on when it is the need is there, and as it is, they also excreted out. As the body waste gets excreted out. So I'm giving the last point. This concept you can write. The extra hormones are not stored. The extra hormones are not stored in the body. Are not stored in the body and are excreted out and are excreted out and are excreted out and are excreted out. ठीक है? Now look at here. What I'm coming here? Now I'll come to the fact. The glands and their hormones and their function. That part we'll learn about. The first gland is called pituitary gland. This is called master gland. So first something I'll discuss from the PowerPoint and then I'll come to a few information further on that. So human physiology part 1 we have covered, now part 2. Now, controls many body function. I've already said that. These are called hormones there. Derive its name from the glands from where they're secreted. Now, the two types of glands, exocrine and endocrine. Exocrine glands transport the hormones to the target tissues via ducts, whereas those which go through endocrine will be directly into the blood. Through the blood, it goes to target cells. Now, let's look at here, just example here. Pituitary gland. The first thing what comes? Pituitary gland. Now, exocrine means that those hormones which are secreted through duct, and they will function. Like I'll come to that. See what I said? Organ can have two parts: exocrine or endocrine. So those will exocrine will directly act on the tissues, let's say kidney or any kind of thing. But those which are endocrine, the hormones will go to the blood. So the blood it will go to the targeted cells, where their action will be there. But what I said, most of the hormones are what? Endocrine. They happen through the blood there, right? So you'll understand that. Now, for example, here, master gland. कई बार ये क्वेश्चन आता भी है कि क्वेश्चन कम्स विच इज द मास्टर ग्लैंड पिट्यूटरी. Now pituitary gland at the base of the brain. At the base of the brain we have a pituitary gland, and pituitary gland is said to be master gland because it secretes hormones which control other kind of hormones. That's why it's called master gland. And broadly divided into two parts, structurally and functionally they are different. They're not the same. What is called anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary. Posterior and anterior. तो यहाँ यूपीएससी के क्या ध्यान रखना है कि as a part of base of the brain, the small gland where secretion is controlled by hypothalamus, right, which is a part of the, again the brain there, and temperature and this part, and they are two type, anterior and posterior, and they release different type of hormones. तो वो चीज़ आपको याद रखना पड़ेगा. That's the part which I'm coming out of there, right? Now here, this is what happens there. Posterior. I'll explain that one. Posterior pituitary releases the first hormone is ADH, antidiuretic hormone. Antidiuretic hormone. So you have to know the name there, antidiuretic hormone. If question comes, which gland? Pituitary gland. If the question is more specific, then posterior pituitary. I'll tell you what is the role of ADH. ADH retains water, right? When it goes to kidney, in terms of the excretion part, it helps retaining the water. Diuretic, right? What is what? Antidiuretic, right? So sometimes, which are the diuretic agent which we take there, जो urine ज़्यादा करता है, कुछ ऐसे होता है. Diuretic food is there or drink is there, which help in more urination. What type of food is that or drink is there? Alcohol, right? When you take alcohol and all this. So what happens in this case? It releases more water. What is antidiuretic? Keeping it there, not a release part of it, right? So that prevents the frequent urination. That's the role of ADH comes. But what I'm saying here, this hormone comes from where? Pituitary gland, which controls the function of kidney. Kidney is controlled from there with the help of this hormone. Now another one which I have given here, TSH. There is a gland in this part of trachea. Around the trachea is what? Windpipe. That food pipe, this windpipe. There is a gland called thyroid, and this thyroid gland, they help in what? Again, in terms of the metabolism part of it, and their function is controlled by a hormone called TSH. Now, what you have to know, remember, TSH is secreted by the pituitary gland. What controls there? There is one type of hormone called T3, triiodothyroxine. T3 and T4 are secreted by thyroid. Okay? The release of T3 and T4 are controlled by TSH, which comes from pituitary gland. Right? I'll ask you a question there. You know thyroid problem, which happens there? There's something, let's say, when body has more thyroid, right? High thyroidism, right? Or hyperthyroidism. So what type of symptoms are there? Those persons which have got more thyroid. But how the person will look like? How metabolism is high, very right. So how that person will be there? Weight gain or weight loss? यही सब चीज़ें, तो कंसेप्ट पार्ट यही होता है जो मैंने बट हाँ, hyperthyroidism, where you have more release, right? That leads to weight loss. The person will lose weight. It is metabolic rate is more, so the person do not gain weight. And such persons are heat intolerance. Heat, right? Garm. That intolerance comes there, right? Whereas less thyroid, less in terms of the less release, hypo word, that is what you see common. What is common? You will find the bloating, the fattiness which happens there, right? That happens because of the less thyroid, which is common, which I said in common find you'll find less one of that. So what I want to make this thyroid function either less or more, like T3 and this one, they're controlled by a hormone called TSH released by pituitary, thyroid stimulating hormone, right? So that's again, you have to know the name and their function into that. What I've given on the slide also there. And there's something called here growth hormone. Huh.
Also controls the temperature of the body's metabolism.
Temperature of the body. In terms of metabolism, what? Is there also there? In terms of this T3, this thyroid one, there also comes into that. Intolerance in this part, there also comes there. I'll give you the written part. See, first understanding part. That's what I always keep on using such kind of slides there. But I'll provide the information. Growth hormone, right? Which gland? Pituitary gland. What will happen if there's excessive growth hormone? Gigantism. Like, khali. Great khali. Even a person may be taller than khali. That is also possible. And less growth hormone, in terms of growth and development part, dwarfism. The person will be dwarf. Bona. Right? That's what happens there. Right. And mostly you remember that circus and joker and all this one. There is dwarfism there. Growth hormone there, right? Now what I have given here, pituitary gland, another one ACTH, corticotropin hormone. Where it controls? Again, kidney. In terms of there is something called, I have mentioned last time, flight and fright. Right? Epinephrine and norepinephrine. That comes. And what you find the last? Follicle stimulating hormone, FSH. So where is the follicle found? Females. Follicle is a part of the female sex organ, as a part of ovary and follicle. What happens in the follicle part? Ovulation. Egg release happens there. Now I'll provide again information. What I'm talking about? Pituitary gland FSH, which is pituitary gland, will control the ovulation or the function of follicle, that is FSH hormone of the follicle, which helps in the ovulation in this part of that. So all this what I've given the name, they come from the pituitary part of that, right? Now you can write there. This is what I put across there. Now you write this. Just give a heading, the pituitary, and give dash the master gland. Pituitary dash the master gland. Now you can write this. It is a small projection. It is a small projection about the size of a pea. It is a small projection about the size of a pea which hangs, I repeat, size of a pea, matter, P-E-A, which hangs from the base of the midbrain. Base of the midbrain, you have to stop there. It is connected to hypothalamus. It is connected to hypothalamus. Right? Now, after that, give a full stop there. You can write this. The next paragraph you write, doesn't matter. It controls most other endocrine glands. It controls most other endocrine glands. Now, taking full stop, right? It has two distinct parts. It has two distinct parts. Dash, like give a dash. The anterior, ANTERIOR, anterior pituitary, and the posterior pituitary. anterior pituitary and posterior, posterior, posterior pituitary, right? Now what you have to do here is that I've mentioned the structure, this one. Now in your class notes, just make this kind of a column there. I'll give you in the, see, though it is there, but I know that sometimes you may not use it. But when you revise your class notes, you know that exactly these names and the function part. So just write there. You make this column there. Let's say right here, anterior pituitary. Then you write here hormones. And then write here functions. Okay? Hormones and functions. So first I am coming to the anterior pituitary. उसका जहां पर उसका स्ट्रक्चर है, एंटीरियर का मतलब क्या होता है? आगे की ओर, है ना? वो जो आगे की ओर पार्ट जो है, तो आगे की पार्ट जो रिलीज करता है एंटीरियर पिट्यूटरी हो गया. ग्लैंड एक ही है ना? पोस्टीरियर हो गया पीछे की ओर जो, दैट्स इसको कहते हैं एंटीरियर पिट्यूटरी, क्योंकि उसका रिलीज दो अलग सेक्शन से होता है, वो पार्ट वहां पर है. नाउ वी कैन राइट दिस. फर्स्ट यू राइट ग्रोथ हार्मोन, GH. जस्ट राइट हियर ग्रोथ हार्मोन. Right, growth hormone. Now you can write there. Promotes growth of functions. Write in function there. Promotes growth of whole body. Promotes growth of whole, at WHOLE, whole body, comma, particularly the skeleton. Particularly the skeleton. Now, after that, then short form you write this. There's increase in secretion. That is more secretion. Just write in an arrow form you can write, and give a dash, gigantism. And the less secretion, dwarfism. ठीक है? Growth hormone, right? What is the role? Growth of the body, entire body, particular skeleton. So increase in secretion, gigantism, decrease in secretion, dwarfism. Now what you can do? You can do like this one. You just make a line here and then write here, second type, number 2. I am giving the classification of the hormone. That is what is called trophic hormones. You write here trophic, TROPHIC, trophic hormones. Trophic hormones. Now within that comes here, you can bracket write, just in bracket write, same part में लिखना है. Trophic hormone के यहाँ bracket में लिखना है. Then in the bracket write trophic hormone. Stimulate, right? Stimulate other endocrine glands. Stimulates other endocrine glands. Stimulates other endocrine glands. Bracket closed. Now what you write first? What I've given there also. What will come in here first? TSH. What is full form TSH? I've written there one. Thyroid stimulating hormone. TSH stands for thyroid stimulating hormone. Then just give a dash, you write there. There, stimulates thyroid function. Stimulates thyroid function. Right. Now number 2. You write. Number 2. ACTH. What is full form of ACTH? Adrenocortico, right? Adrenocorticotropic, right? Adrenocorticotropic hormone, ACTH. ACTH, जो TSH जो है, that stimulates the thyroid function in terms of secretion of. If you want to write thyroid, अगर लिखना है आप लिख लो आप. In thyroid function in secretion of T3. What is T3? In bracket write triiodothyroxine. मैं फिर से रिपीट कर देता हूँ, T3 is secreted by thyroid gland, but that secretion of the thyroid gland is controlled by TSH. If any time the person who suffers with thyroid problem, when the blood testing is done, you'll find in the report TSH value, T3 value and T4 value. But your T3 and TSH values are there. That makes the doctor understand whether the hypo or hyper, right? Less secretion or more secretion. वो पता चलता है वहाँ पर, ठीक? Now what I've said, ACTH, just write dash, stimulates adrenal cortex, stimulates adrenal cortex of kidney, Now see here, the kidney, when you look at the kidney as a bean-shaped structure, the kidney is divided into three parts. The outer part, this part, is called adrenocortex. The outer part comes the adrenal cortex there. This is as an example I am giving there. So what the ACTH does? It stimulates the outer part of the kidney, right? And as I mentioned there again can be hormone. Like I mentioned that word epinephrine. एक तरह का हार्मोन होता है जो फ्लाइट एंड नॉर एपिनेफ्रिन, इस टाइप के हार्मोन्स के होते हैं. तो दैट इज द कंट्रोल इज डन थ्रू ACTH, राइट? नाउ व्हाट यू कैन डू, दिस टू पार्ट व्हिच आई हैव गिवन, जस्ट ड्रॉ अगेन अ लाइन. नाउ थर्ड यू कैन राइट गोनाडो, गिव अ हेडिंग हियर, गोनाडोट्रोपिक, right? Gonadotropic hormones. And the first one you write, number 1, what I've given on the slide also there. First we could write FSH. The number 1 is FSH. The full form of FSH is follicle stimulating hormone. Now write dash, give a dash there, FSH. Follicle stimulating hormone, give a dash. Stimulates egg formation. Egg formation in females and sperm formation in males right? So egg and sperm formation, that is done by FSH.
Egg formation or egg release?
No, formation. Follicle stimulation formation. Right, release part also, they form there. Right. Release part, there is a hormone, I'm now coming to that. What is the LH? Luteinizing hormone. Okay? Formation part is there. Now what you can do, just below this, I'll write sidewise. मैं यहाँ लिख देता हूँ. Let me write here. One is the FSH, gonadotropic. Now you write second, LH. In bracket you write luteinizing. Luteinizing hormone. Now you can write about luteinizing hormone. That is the LH hormone. Stimulates ovulation. OVU. Stimulates ovulation. 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 Right. Ovulation. And the formation of corpus, CORPUS, and the formation of corpus, I'm writing the spelling also, luteum. ये ओवरी है उसके पार्ट के साथ होता है, corpus luteum. Again, scientific biological word ability. Corpus luteum, which produces the female hormone, is very important point. Which produces the female hormone, right? Which produces the female hormone, progesterone. Which produces the female hormone, progesterone, right? Progesterone and stimulates testes, TES, stimulates testes to produce. What is the male sex hormone? It stimulates testes to produce what is called, testosterone. Produce testosterone. Right, now let me explain these things. What is the thing here? See, pituitary gland which secretes this luteinizing hormone, LH. It has got two functions to do that in male and female. In male part, it stimulates testes, what will help in the formation of testosterone, which you know that male sex hormone is there in terms of growth, reproduction, and again sexual characteristics, which comes with testosterone. Same it happens in terms of female, corpus luteum, and then in terms of the progesterone, and also what I've said here, the ovulation part, right? It helps in that part, release of the egg. Ovulation is what? Release of the egg. Formation part, I mentioned FSH. Clear this? So this is what controlling action comes. ये सारा फैक्ट है जो ये चीज़ है, इसलिए जैसे मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, इफ यू कैन जनरली क्या होता है, एक एस्पेक्ट होता है स्ट्रैटेजी का प्रिपेयर करेगा क्या कि ये क्वेश्चन आ रहा है तो ये टॉपिक इंपॉर्टेंट पढ़ के रखना है, या कहीं ना कहीं न्यूज़ में आ गया समथिंग इन करंट एस्पेक्ट करना है. और दूसरा क्या होता है जो मैंने बताया कि जहाँ नहीं आया और वहाँ क्वेश्चन आ रहा है. UPSC is all about the things which they are trying to take from the, and NCERT or any such kind of general science can be a base on that, right? So that's what the factual part. The thing is that once you know that, just before the exam you revise it. So these are things you have to remember for the multiple choice question there. ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे LH कहोगे, FSH, LS, LH part comes. Now what you can write here, the third one, the last one which I'm coming here, third one, let me write here only. There is something called prolactin. What is called as prolactin? See, remember that the word lactation, it always comes from what? Milk. Right, milk and this one. So prolactin. So particularly where it will happen there? After the birth. And birth के बाद जो होता है. So just one sentence you can write. Stimulates milk production. Stimulates milk production. Stimulates milk production. ठीक है, stimulates milk production. Now I'm coming to the this pituitary gland. Now just see here. Anterior part I mentioned this one, but I've given you something extra also. But when you talk about the first posterior pituitary, so what I've written there? ADH, right? And there is also produces what? Oxytocin. So कितने hormones produce हो रहा है? Oxytocin and ADH. So now what you can do? The first part I have given you. Anterior pituitary, growth hormone, right? Then I've given trophic hormones, TSH and ACTH. Then I've given here gonadotrophic hormone, FSH, LH, and prolactin in a sequential aspect, right? Now what you can write here? You can write about, draw a line here, and then you write anterior. Now I'm coming to posterior. Just write there posterior pituitary. Posterior pituitary. Now in the middle column you can write there of ADH. You just write antidiuretic hormone. Antidiuretic. I've written there. Antidiuretic. Diuretic. DIURETIC. Antidiuretic hormone. ADH. I'm giving you another name for that. ADH in bracket, or you can write or. Right, this name you have to remember, or vasopressin. Let me write on the board here. Or vasopressin. Or vasopressin. ADH is also called vasopressin. Now you write about the function. The function you write. Increase absorption of water. Increase absorption of water from kidney. Increase absorption of water from the kidney. In bracket you write, in bracket there is a term called as osmoregulation. Osmoregulation. In the bracket you write osmoregulation. Osmotic regulation. That water part comes into that, right? Now I'll give you some disorder also, the deficiency disorder. ADH, if it lacks there, now here, deficiency causes one which mentioned that, which is again something to deal link with the part of the blood glucose level also there. Diabetes, right? Diabetes word. The two words comes there. One is the mellitus, diabetes mellitus, and second word is that insipidus. ठीक है, मैं समझा रहा हूँ. Diabetes, when you come diabetes part, then I'll come back to the ADH. Diabetes is two things, mellitus and insipidus. What is diabetes? Diabetic mellitus. Diabetes mellitus. Is it adult diabetes or sometimes child also suffers it? Diabetes mellitus. Millettus. So is what? Diabetes mellitus is what? Hmm? Both. And what is diabetes insipidus? Hmm? हाँ. So remember that. Normal diabetes when we talk about, है ना, जैसे कई बार आप पढ़ेंगे न्यूज़ में type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, normal diabetes. We use the word mellitus. But there is one type of diabetes condition. What is diabetes condition? When the blood sugar level will not be decreased, it increases. There is one type of diabetes called insipidus. You can write there. Now you write in this function. Function part, what do you write? What I've said here? What is the role of vasopressin? This in terms of the retention of water. What do you write? Deficiency cause, right? Deficiency causes diabetes, right? This deficiency causes diabetes insipidus. Deficiency causes diabetes insipidus. Vasopressin, that is a part of the vasopressin I am talking about. Diabetes insipidus. So in case question comes, this kind of direct question, what causes diabetes insipidus? Right, that is in the part who comes there, right? Now you can write the oxytocin. Now number 2. नहीं, डायबिटीज क्या होता है? सिंपल सी बात है, डायबिटीज क्या होता है? जब ब्लड ग्लूकोज जो है कम नहीं हो पाता, यही है ना डायबिटीज, एंड द ग्लूकोज इज मोर इन ऑल गेट केबल. अब ये चीज दो तरह से हो सकता है. व्हाट आई वांट टू से, दिस हैपेंस इन दो वे. वन वे इज इंसुलिन एंड सेकंड इट कैन हैपन विद वैसोप्रेशन. उसका खाली नाम अलग दिया गया है. हाँ, एक वो भी मैं आऊँगा. वो पार्ट मिलेटस जो है, नॉर्मल डायबिटीज को मिलेटस कहते हैं, ठीक है. वो जो टाइप 1 जो कहते हैं एडल्ट डायबिटीज होता है, तो मिलेटस कहा जाता है. बट एक और तरह का डायबिटीज हो सकता है जो कि बिकॉज ऑफ ये वैसोप्रेसिन के कमी कारण हो सकता है, ठीक है. लेकिन कंडीशन सिम्टम सेम होगा. हाँ, लैक ब्लड ग्लूकोज विल कीप ऑन राइजिंग देयर, कंडीशन सेम है, बट ओनली द मतलब यहाँ पर क्या है, कॉज अलग अलग है, फैक्टर अलग अलग हो रहा है. हाँ, इंसुलिन का नहीं है, ये हो रहा है इसके कारण, एडीएस के कारण हो रहा है. इंसुलिन एडीएस के कारण वहाँ पर के कारण वहाँ हो रहा है. हाँ, now what I'm coming here, oxytocin. What I've said, what is oxytocin? Birth hormone, right? Oxytocin is what? Birth hormone. So number 2 you can write here. This one, you write birth hormone. This oxytocin you can write.
Polyuria problem.
Polyuria. More urination part. What is saying that if vasopressin will be less, now understand. What is he said? I'll explain in a proper way. A diabetic person, right? One of the thing is that they also urinate. It happens frequent urination. अगर आपने कभी देखा हो कि अगर वो कहते हैं कि अगर आपको सिम्टम है कि नहीं, कि आपको शुगर की बीमारी आ रही है कि नहीं आ रही, तो वहाँ क्या होता है, एक यूरिनेशन होता है. वैसोप्रेसिन का काम क्या है, एडीएच का, कि वो वाटर को रिटेन करता है, फिल्टर, ऑस्मो रेगुलेशन. अगर वैसोप्रेसिन कम हो जाए, डेफिशिएंसी हो जाए, तो वहाँ पर क्या होगा, एक तरह का डायबिटीज जैसा कंडीशन होगा, दैट कॉल्ड इंसिपिडस. तो उस केस में क्या होता है कि यूरिनेशन पार्ट जो होता है, देयर मे बी, बिकॉज द किडनी विल नॉट बी एबल टू filter the water there, that will go into what, urination part. That is what called insipidus word has come into that. ठीक है, डायबिटीज इंसिपिडस. नॉर्मल डायबिटीज जो आप लोग बात करते हैं इंसुलिन की कमी, तो वहाँ पर ब्लड ग्लूकोज का दैट पार्ट कम्स इनटू दैट, जो जहाँ पर बढ़ जाना ये सारा जो है. तो दैट इज व्हाट इज द वर्ड यू हैव बीन यूज्ड, इंसिपिडस वर्ड. नॉर्मल डायबिटीज जो इंसुलिन कम होने का कारण होता है, उसमें दो आता है. एक होता है एडल्ट डायबिटीज एंड सेकंड होता है जुवेनाइल, बोलते हैं चाइल्डहुड डायबिटीज. वो नॉर्मल डायबिटीज दैट हैपेंस बिकॉज ऑफ इंसुलिन. हियर वी आर टॉकिंग इन टर्म्स ऑफ वैसोप्रेसिन, एडीएच पार्ट में, ठीक है. तो ऑक्सीटोसिन, नाम कमिंग टू ऑक्सीटोसिन देयर, बर्थ यू कैन जस्ट, हाँ नहीं, सिम्टम्स दोनों में आता है. मैं कह रहा हूँ कि दोनों में ये प्रॉब्लम आएगा. डायबिटीज अब क्या होता है, डायबिटीज मतलब जो शुगर का ब्लड में बढ़ना होता है, बस उसका दो कंडीशंस में बता रहा हूँ. एक होता है इंसुलिन की कमी के कारण पैंक्रियाज, दूसरा होता है यहाँ पे इसके कारण जो है. इस केस में हाँ, इस केस में क्या होता है, क्योंकि वैसोप्रेशन का मेन काम क्या होता है, यूरिन, है ना, जो वहाँ पर था. तो इस केस में क्या होता है, इंसिपिडस केस में द पर्सन विल हैव अ फ्रीक्वेंट काइंड ऑफ व्हाट यू यूरिनेशन, पॉलीयूरिनेशन. जो यूरिन होता है ज़्यादा रिलीज होता है वहाँ पर उस केस में, दैट्स व्हाट थिंग इज दैट। इसलिए हाँ हाँ, वहाँ भी होता है लेकिन इस केस में ज़्यादा होगा, वहाँ भी होता है सही। अब उस केस में डायबिटीज़ केस में भी मेलिटस में भी होता है, ये भी होता है। हाँ नहीं, वो फिर वहाँ कॉज वो होगा कि किसके कारण है, वो विल बी गिवन देयर एडीएच है या लिखा होगा इंसुलिन है, वो चीज़ है, वो पार्ट होगा उसमें, दैट विल पार्ट। नाउ लेट्स कम टू द लास्ट पार्ट ऑफ दिस, ऑक्सीटोसिन स्टिमुलेट्स, राइट, स्टिमुलेट्स stimulates contraction of stimulates हाँ oxytocin, I am giving for oxytocin, stimulates contraction of the uterus, contraction of the uterus during childbirth, contraction of the uterus during the childbirth, during the childbirth, during the childbirth, right? So now I am coming to this one, anterior I will child during the childbirth, oxytocin childbirth. Now, so one I've said about and part of the pituitary part, right? Now I'm coming to the second type of endocrine system, right? Endocrine glands there, endocrine glands, thyroid and parathyroid. Okay, what is the second type of endocrine glands? Thyroid and parathyroid. And I have just mentioned here, this pituitary gland TSH control the thyroid function in terms of T3. Okay, first let me explain there. The second type of gland in terms of endocrine system comes into thyroid and parathyroid. There's something called parathyroid. Thyroid, the main function in terms of the metabolic act. What is the part? Metabolism. Right? Thyroxine hormone. They help in the metabolism part. What is metabolism? Building up and breaking down. What is called anabolism or catabolism. So that is controlled through the thyroid hormones. Right? Now there, in terms of, first let me, thyroid gland, now you'll find here what is called as the T4, thyroxine. The thyroid gland secrete two hormones. One is called T4, thyroxine, and second hormone is called T3, triiodothyroxine. Now, when stimulated by TSH, it produces there, and there is also one type of called calcitonin. Okay, calcitonin is also there. What is the role of calcitonin? The blood calcium, right? Calcium in the blood, right? It reduces those kind of a calcium in the blood. That is called calcitonin. Okay, so three hormones I have mentioned. One T4, thyroxine. Second T3, triiodothyroxine. And what comes? Calcitonin. Right? That is what comes. Now here, which I mentioned right now, calcitonin lowers the amount of calcium in the blood. What is the role of calcium? Calcitonin decreases the calcium in the blood. किसके थ्रू हो रहा है? Thyroid. Now what comes here? Inadequate level of thyroid hormone. That means less thyroid hormone, T4 and T3, that cause hypothyroidism. I've already said in the classroom, hypothyroidism. What happens in hypothyroidism? The first thing is that what you find here, myxedema करते हैं, इसमें facial bloating होता है. Right? Then you have weakness, cold intolerance, and here the cold intolerance. Hyper में heat intolerance होता है. Cold intolerance, lethargy, altered mental status, oily skin and hair, right? And you know that those person who have this hypothyroidism, वो tablets आता है, the medicines are taken, right? Which has to there, वो dark color bottle. What is there, any brand name there? Thyroxine. There's name is हाँ thyroxine. You have seen in the house also there. कोई किसी घर में है? नहीं, जनरली औरतें वगैरह ये सब महिलाएं को आजकल ये मेल को भी हो सकता है, ऐसा नहीं है. Male can also have it. It's not that only female can have. So that you'll find one doctor advice. इसका कोई इलाज नहीं है. I'll tell you, there is nothing that you'll get cured of that. Only thing is that you have to supplement from outside, and that is what the tablets are taken. ठीक है? Then what I said, hyper, when there is more release, right? So when there is more release, what will happen there? Graves disease. I'll give there. अब पहले समझो, Graves disease. सारा होगा. Just what is called Graves disease. ठीक है? तो what is Graves disease? इसका साइन सिम्टम क्या होगा? इंसोमनिया. और मैंने क्या बताया कि ज्यादा रिलीज होने पे क्या है? पतला दुबला रहेगा. They will not gain weight, lose weight, body weight कम होगा. And then insomnia. Then what happens? Tachycardia. What is tachycardia? Huh? Increased heart rate. Then what comes here? Hypertension, heat intolerance, weight loss. Long-term hypothyroidism may lead to more kind of bulging of the eyeballs, right? Barbara boost जो है that kind of now it's severe cases medical emergency called that can happen there, right? Just to understand. So here you have to know these three hormones and the symptoms part. I'll just give you a brief form. No, हाँ दोनों का बोलो वहाँ फंक्शन मोस्टली T3 थ्रू होता है. पैराथायराइड का मैं बताया तो उसमें एक हार्मोन है जिसको कहते हैं कैल्शियम सीरम में देते हैं. Thyroid gland, calcitonin decreases calcium. On the other hand, there will be what? Antagonistic, increase in the calcium when there is a need of that comes into that, right? Now you can write there. Now second, first I've given pituitary here. Just write next you can write. I'm good. Thyroid. Just write number 2 thyroid. Thyroid. I'll make it more simple there. You can write this. Thyroid is a bilobed structure. Bilobed, BI. नॉट टेबल टेबल नहीं लिखना है. पिट्यूटरी खत्म हो गया यहाँ पर, उसके नीचे लिखना है थायराइड. राइट. थायराइड इज अ बाइलोब्ड, LOBED, बाइलोब्ड स्ट्रक्चर situated in the front region of the neck. Situated in the front region of the neck. Now give full stop. It secretes two hormones. It secretes two hormones. Dash thyroxine. It secretes two hormones. Thyroxine. Right. And calcitonin. Now after that you write in paragraph. Thyroxine, calcitonin, CALCITONIN. Now right, thyroxine regulates body metabolism. Thyroxine regulates body metabolism. Right, give a full stop there. Under secretion of thyroxine, give a bracket there, write in bracket, hypothyroidism, in bracket write hypothyroidism, bracket close, produces three conditions, give a dash, number one first. That is it. PowerPoint is one way, but I'm providing the main aspect. Produces three conditions dash. Number one, goiter. GOITRE. Goiter. Goiter. You know goiter. What happens with goiter? There is enlargement part, iodine part. Even thyroid, remember that hypothyroidism, less secretion, can also result into a symptom of goiter. It can happen there. Right, number two, second, right, myxodema, I'll write the spelling there, MYXOEDEMA. Write in a sentence form. I'll explain what is the myxodema. Now write in myxodema, dema dash, swelling of the face and hands. Swelling of the face and hands. Right, give a full stop there. General sluggishness. General sluggish, SLU, right, GISH, NESS. Sluggish, you know sluggish means what? Slow kind of thing there. Lethargy, that's what happens there. Sust ho jana, right? Now third you write, number third is again very important point I write, cretinism. Number third you write CRETINISM, cretinism. Give a dash there. Cretinism, we write this. Poor body growth, in bracket dwarfism, poor body growth, in bracket dwarfism, and mental retardation. Now understand there. Something I put on the slide for repeating that. There you have the symptom. Something which is not in the slide, I am adding through the written part. So that when you revise, so you know that this is the thing you have to know for the examination. Right? Now I'm coming to what? The less secretion. I'm coming to more secretion. You can write, after that you write. After that you write. Over secretion of thyroxine. Over secretion of thyroxine. In bracket, hyperthyroidism. In bracket, hyperthyroidism. Hyperthyroidism. Now, you can write dash. It produces X of, we can write, it produces goiter, Goitre, goiter, and high rate of metabolism, comma, rapid heartbeat, comma, shortness of breath, and protruding, PRUDIG, protruding eyes. Type protruding eyes. Right, which we know that this, in the slide what is given there, Barbara Bush, dubli patli and आँख बाहर निकला हुआ, right? That is what happens in what is called hyperthyroidism. ठीक है? Other things I have put up the name of the disease, Graves' disease, what is called GRAVE, that comes into that. Clear? Now the thyroid gland, the hormone, the next one calcitonin. You write calcitonin, right? Next you write calcitonin. Just one sentence you write. It regulates the calcium. It regulates calcitonin. Next hormone, calcitonin. It regulates calcium and phosphorus levels in the blood. It regulates calcium and phosphorus level in the blood. Now give you a full stop. If the blood calcium is high, if blood calcium is high, comma, calcitonin moves calcium ions. Calcitonin moves calcium ion from blood to bones. From blood to bones, making bones harder. HARDER. Clear? If when we take in the blood level of calcium goes higher and calcitonin is secreted by what gland? Thyroid gland. So what will happen? This calcium will move from the blood to the bones, and that will result into hardening of the bones. Right? So if there is excessive calcitonin, then the problem will happen what? More of bone hardening. अगर बहुत ज़्यादा calcitonin हो जाए. I am talking about normal case. Normal case, bone mineralization or hardening of bone, that is where calcitonin plays a role. Excessive will be, then problem will happen. Rickets, what happens is less, but here happens more. The bone will become more harder. But I'm saying general maintenance happens in that case, right? Is it clear up to here? Now I'll come to the last part, then I'll come to insulin part of this. Now you can write thyroid, understood there? Now I'm coming to parathyroid. Just to write about one, I'll remove this, what I've written on the whiteboard. Parathyroid. Now in parathyroid, now write there in a paragraph there. These are two small pairs of glands. These are two small pairs of glands embedded in the thyroid gland. embedded in the thyroid gland. Now same paragraph, right? It secretes parathormone. It secretes parathormone. It secretes parathormone, which raises blood calcium, which raises blood calcium level, by stimulating release of calcium, from bones, by stimulating release of calcium from bones. इसलिए मैंने क्लास में क्या समझा, कैल्सिटोनिन जो कि थायराइड ग्लैंड का है और पैराथायराइड ग्लैंड जो है उसका जस्ट उल्टा फंक्शन. Calcitonin decreases from blood, calcium goes to the bones, where parathormone by parathyroid gland will increase calcium in the blood. So that will, in terms of taking from bones to the blood, antagonistic, that part. Now understand here, very important. What I said in the beginning of the class, that question what I gave you on the whiteboard, pancreas, where do you find pancreas as a gland? Where is the pancreas? Liver. Liver contains, see, remember that pancreas as an organ plays important role in digestion. It has a role to play digestion because release of digestive enzymes. Pancreas plays a role. But at the same time, pancreas is also an endocrine gland. And pancreas cell, there's what called Langerhans. Sometimes you'll come across the word. There's Langerhans cells are there. What I've written also there. There are islets of Langerhans. What you find in the slide there. Now this is what I'm writing here. First part is called alpha cells of Langerhans. The second part is called beta cells of Langerhans. And third you have delta cells of Langerhans. ये बस सिंपल ये चीज को केवल ध्यान में रखना है. देखो ये जो नेम वर्ड इज दैट इज यू हैव टू नो दैट कि देयर आर इन द पैंक्रियाज islets of Langerhans. It is named Langerhans because of the person who first discovered in such kind of in the human pancreas. Now alpha cells of Langerhans, this releases a hormone called glucagon. Right. Beta cells of Langerhans releases what is called insulin. And delta cells of Langerhans, it releases a hormone called somatostatin. I'm writing on the flow chart only there. Now, glucagon, right, it increases blood glucose level. I'm writing very clearly here. It increases blood glucose level. Let's say when we are fasting, right, when we are not taking food, we are on a fast and blood glucose is low and the body cells require energy. So in that case, glucagon will act. And what happens there? How the action happens? Glycogen, I'm writing here. Glycogen, glucose is stored in glycogen from liver. What I've written here? Liver stores glycogen. Because of glucagon, this glycogen will break into glucose. And that will go to the blood. Clear? Right? Simple understanding. Because of glucagon, this glycogen in the liver will break down to form glucose and that glucose will go to the blood. That part comes. Now what does the insulin does? Opposite. It decreases blood glucose level, which you are aware of this, decreases blood glucose level. So what insulin does there as a normal function? It converts excess glucose in the blood into glycogen and stored in the liver. So it is just the reverse. Glucose, which is excess in the blood, that goes into glycogen and stored in the liver. Clear? Now somatostatin controls both of this. It keeps a balance of glucagon and insulin. So here, somatostatin controls release of here glucagon and insulin. They are controlled through somatostatin, so that the normal healthy body functions. ठीक है, तो सोमैटोस्टैटिन का अगर वहाँ प्रॉब्लम आ गया तो कहीं ना कहीं ये भी प्रॉब्लम आएगा ही आएगा. This general understanding here you have to know what comes to general understanding part. Is it clear here what I put across the flowchart? ठीक है. Now I'm coming to this one. Now understand here. So I've said here glucagon and surge and all this one what I've explained here. Right. Then comes here the beta cells I've explained, insulin part, delta cells somatostatin which inhibit both glucagon and insulin. That controls the release of that. I've written there. It controls the release of that. What is there? You can write in bracket inhibition. अगर बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया तो उसको inhibit करेगा. Controls the release of glucagon and insulin. So in bracket you write inhibition. Let's say when more insulin is released by pancreas or more glucagon, that will be controlled there. Right? Now I'm now coming to that word, mellitus. Right, diabetes case there. Right? So, two types of diabetes. One is here I've mentioned insipidus and this one. I'm coming to the diabetes here. Diabetes mellitus.
पैराथायरॉइड जो हमने किया कि आपको बोन से कैल्शियम जो है
हाँ.
कैल्शियम मतलब ब्लड में कैल्शियम बोन में कैल्शियम
नहीं, जब हम फूड लेते तो क्या होता है, मिनरल भी होता है. जैसे हमारे दूध अपने भी है, कैल्शियम फॉस्फेट है, तो वहाँ पर ब्लड में तो नहीं रहता, उसको कहीं ना कहीं बोन में जाना है. हाँ.
अगर ब्लड में कैल्शियम कम हो जाता है तो बोन से उठा के ब्लड में दोबारा ले.
हाँ, मतलब उसको मेंटेन करता है बैलेंस, क्योंकि कैल्शियम का काम बहुत सारा. तो कैल्शियम का जो है थ्रू ब्लड जाता है, मसल कॉन्ट्रैक्शन और बॉडी फंक्शन होता है. हाँ, नहीं, ब्लड तो मीडियम है, ब्लड इज द ट्रांसपोर्ट मीडियम, बट आवर बॉडी रिक्वायर्स कैल्शियम इन अदर फंक्शन ऑल्सो. ठीक है, इज नॉट ओनली द बोन्स. कैल्शियम एज एन आयन प्लेज रोल इन ब्लड क्लॉटिंग. कई बार अंदर ब्लड क्लॉटिंग जो होता है वहाँ भी कैल्शियम चाहिए. कैल्शियम इज ऑल्सो यूज इन द टीथ ऑल्सो देयर. कैल्शियम इज ऑल्सो रिक्वायर्ड इन what I've said, it is also in the muscle contraction. So they happen to the blood only, no? So that maintaining that level of calcium, that's where the thyroid hormone and parathyroid both controls there. वो part आता है. ठीक है. So what I'm coming here, diabetes mellitus. ठीक है. तो now who will tell me here type 1 and type 2? When you come across newspaper this word type 1 and type 2 diabetes, so what is their meaning there? What is like? We as a person develop diabetes. So which one will be that? Type 1 or type 2? Type 2. Type 2 is adult diabetes here. And what is type 1? Type 1 क्या होता है? Childhood में होता है. Juvenile diabetes बोलते हैं. So juvenile. You'll come across the word juvenile. See, juvenile diabetes happens because of certain type of infection. What is juvenile diabetes? When in the child, pancreas, which cell? I have given there beta cells of Langerhans, are not able to produce the required insulin. What is required there? And such kind of child has to be always getting insulin from outside. Right? From outside the insulin is required. Right? So that is what I said. When we use the word diabetes part, so there is further division type 1, type 2. Normal diabetes, what we see, we talk in day-to-day language is type 2 diabetes, right, which is also said lifestyle disease, which happens because of lack of secretion of insulin from Langerhans, beta cells of Langerhans. That's what comes into. ठीक है? Up to here is clear. So I have gone into 3 glands there, 4 glands, 3 glands. First pituitary, then thyroid, along with that parathyroid, and then in pancreas. Right. Now I'm coming to what? Kidney. Kidney as an endocrine gland. Right. And then what will be last comes here? After kidney, it will come into the normal kind of the sex organ there. Testis and the ovary. That part will come into that. So now let's understand here. When you talk about adrenal gland, right? Adrenal gland sits on the top of the kidney. That kidney, I've said, Binshap is on the kidney, adrenal gland. And adrenal gland, two small glands that sit atop both the kidneys. Each has two divisions and they have two functions. One is called adrenal medulla. Right? Adrenal medulla secretes the catecholamine. There's one hormone called catecholamine hormones, which is basically two types: epinephrine, norepinephrine. I'll explain again. When you talk about the part of here, this gland, what is called adrenal cortex, adrenal gland on the kidney, first part of adrenal medulla, and medulla part, here you have a two type of hormone, epinephrine, norepinephrine, which are together called catecholamine hormone because of chemical composition. So यहाँ factual part ये आ गया. Now tell me this epinephrine causes what? Like when नाग, काला नाग सामने आ जाए, ठीक है, और टाइगर सामने आ जाए, you are walking and tiger is there, right? Or bus comes in front of you. So that is the epinephrine or norepinephrine? Both. Why both? Last class I have mentioned that sympathetic division. What is sympathetic division of brain? Increases part of the, ठीक है? तो यहाँ पर क्या है कि वो it can help in this kind of a fright and flight, right? Flight also, to भाग जाना, वो जो होता है, so that comes into that, right? So there's one part which I mentioned here related to sympathetic component of autonomic nervous system, which I explained last time in the classroom there, and secret three type. Now adrenal cortex का है, ये तीन चीजें यहाँ पर, three class of hormone, all steroid hormone है, glucocorticoid, mineralocorticoid and adrenogenic hormones होता है. Glucocorticoid जो है वो help करता है 95% of the production from there. You could write there, now write there. Now I'll come to that. I'll make it more simple. Now just write adrenals, adrenals, A-D-R-E-N-A-L-S, adrenals. That is it. The adrenals are a pair of glands, situated like caps, C-A-P-S, caps, one above each kidney. Situated like caps, 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 one above each kidney. One above each kidney. Now give me full stop. Each adrenal consists of two parts. Each adrenal consists of two parts. Dash, same sentence you write. A central medulla. A central medulla and a peripheral, cortex, C-O-R-T-E-X, cortex. Now below that you write, very simple aspect I'm giving there. The adrenal medulla secretes, in inverted commas you write the name of the hormone, adrenaline, A-D-R-E-N-A-L-I-N-E. I'll repeat again, adrenaline, A-D-R-E-N-A-L-I-N-E. Inverted commas closed, which, give a comma. Below that, if you want to write 1, 2, 3, or you want to make star mark or bullet point, whatever you want to do, which, comma, below that, increases heart rate and BP. Increases heart rate and BP, blood pressure. Number 2, below that, increases blood supply to muscles. Blood supply to muscles. Now, below that, right, releases more glucose into the blood. Right? इसी को कहते हैं फ्लाइट एंड फ्राइट. तो जब सांप देखा, काला सांप, खासतौर पर क्या होता है, एक और अच्छा मैं बता दूँ, उससे ज़्यादा ज़्यादा मज़ा इसमें आएगा। भूत भूत नाइट रात के टाइम अंधेरे में अचानक आके आपको कोई पकड़ ले। दो ही चीज़ हो सकता है, या तो डर लगेगा या तो बहुत मजा आएगा। तो जब डर लगेगा तो उसमें क्या होगा, आप क्या करते हो, अचानक ग्लूकोज रिलीज होना चालू होता है, राइट, बीपी बढ़ जाता है, कोई आपको पकड़ा रखे हो आप पीछे से और आप हिल नहीं पा रहे हो, आप पूछ रहे हो कौन है कौन है कौन है। राइट, तो क्या होगा, धीरे धीरे हार्ट बीट, राइट, ब्लड प्रेशर, और जब ज़्यादा ग्लूकोज से क्यों भागना है, छोड़ा के ये भी हो सकता है, ये थे। तो जो एड्रेनलिन होता है, और नॉर एड्रेनलिन क्या करेगा, एपिनेफ्रिन का ये काम है, नॉर एपिनेफ्रिन वापस नॉर्मल, जैसे आपके पीछे कुत्ता भाग जाए, who let the dogs out, who let the dogs out, भागना। लेकिन उसके बाद जब कुत्ता चला गया तो फिर क्या आता है, नॉर्मल कि जान बच गई, राइट, अब रेबीज नहीं होगा, तो वो चीज़ है, दैट इज द थिंग कम्स देयर, राइट। नाउ आई एम कमिंग टू दिस वन, यू कैन राइट दैट, नेक्स्ट वन यू राइट द एड्रिनल कॉर्टेक्स, आफ्टर दैट इन पैराग्राफ राइट द एड्रिनल कॉर्टेक्स, the adrenal cortex secretes the adrenal cortex secretes two categories of hormones. The adrenal cortex secretes two categories of hormones dash. Number one, I have already given the spelling there, you can copy that one, glucocorticoids. ग्लूको हाँ ग्लूटिको ग्लूटिकोकॉर्टिकोइड्स, डॉक्टर साहब को ये सब तो पूरा याद होगा, तुम कर रहे होगा, राइट, ग्लूटिको है ना, हाँ यार, हाँ अच्छा, that is what happens. Then and you write and mineral corticoids and mineral corticoids, नहीं अलग अलग है, मिनरल कॉर्टिकॉइड्स एंड आई एम सॉरी, वो आपने क्या लिखा उसमें, एड्रेनल कॉर्टेक्स टू कैटेगरीज हार्मोन्स, ग्लूकोकॉर्टिकॉइड्स एंड मिनरल कॉर्टिकॉइड्स, ठीक है। नाउ अच्छा ठीक है, जो थ्री है ना, मैं बताता हूँ उसको, ऐसा कर सकते हैं, एंड्रोजेनिक में लिखा, वो बाद में आता हूँ मैं, आई कम टू, यू राइट टू ओनली, आई कम टू दैट लेटर ऑन, यू राइट टू ऑफ देम ओनली, राइट। नाउ यू कैन राइट दिस, उसके नीचे आप लिखो, I'll make it clear what I've been, just right there. Glucocorticoids, glucocorticoids helps helps in helps in response helps in response to stress, helps in response to stress and raises blood glucose level, and raises blood glucose level, blood glucose level. Now taking first step, right, some of the cortical hormones, some of the cortical CORTICL cortical hormones such as sex hormones, are controlled by it. For example, same, right, for example overgrowth, overgrowth of adrenal cortex, for example overgrowth of adrenal cortex in young children causes premature sexual maturity, premature sexual maturity. समझ में आया? ये समझ में कौन सा इसमें सेक्स हार्मोन की बात है? इट इज कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स पार्ट ऑफ इट दैट कैन हैपन बिकॉज ऑफ एज से पहले. और चिल्ड्रन कैन बी बोथ मेल एंड फीमेल, इट कैन हैपन देयर. ठीक है, कब होता है? जब ओवर ग्रोथ इन टर्म्स ऑफ कैन हैपन देयर, राइट? जल्दी ही जवानी फूट जाए, दैट कैन हैपन देयर. यंग पीपल, राइट? डॉक्टर साहब सही है ना? दिस हैपन देयर ना? ओके, दिस जल्दी मूछें आ जाना, दाढ़ी बढ़ जाना हुआ किसी के साथ 10 साल की उम्र में या नहीं हुआ ना? अब आजकल बड़ा यू नो द लाइफ अर्बन एरियाज क्या क्या हो रहा है आजकल, बच्चे जल्दी जवान हो जा रहे हैं. हो रहे कि नहीं हो रहे हैं बताओ? एक बार मैं वहाँ पर, कहाँ पर था वो, उस जगह पे मेट्रो के उस साइड में ना बहुत सारे वो रोल बेचते हैं वहाँ पर. एग रोल एंड चिकन रोल एंड डबल चिकन रोल, डबल एग डबल चिकन रोल. आई वाज जस्ट क्रॉसिंग विद माय एक्टिवा देयर, राइट? तो मैं वहाँ गया तो देखा चिल्ड्रन, देयर इज वन स्कूल देयर, यू नो द स्कूल, व्हिच स्कूल इज देयर? उस साइड, अपोजिट साइड. क्लास यू विल नॉट रियलाइज 6-7 कमिंग, 6-7 का होगा. What they having? All those what an adult have. What they have? Smoking and everything there. Yes, आजकल this is happening there. And I'm telling you the fact, this is not the because hormonal disorder. What happens? See, hormone things something happens because of what? Body function there, and body function because of what? Bad lifestyle. So that's what I'm saying. Now the things are changing in urban areas because of that lifestyle. Take it. What I said, glucocorticoids as a hormone, they can also influence the part of the sex hormone that is, huh? Huh?
The types of effects, Rajat,
Huh?
Sattva and Tamas.
Huh, that is part of this comes. He has said about Sanskrit part of that. Right? It happens there. I'm telling you the fact is there. It's happening there. Right. Now you can write, next you can write, mineral corticoids, right? Mineral corticoids, mineral corticoids, mineral corticoids, mineral corticoids. Now, right here, for example, very important example of mineral corticoid I'm giving. For example, aldosterone, ALDOSTERONE. I'll spell again. Aldosterone, ALDOSTERONE, STERONE. Aldosterone is concerned with, right, is concerned with water retention, in kidneys, concerned with water retention in kidneys. Give a full stop there. It increases reabsorption of sodium and chloride. It increases reabsorption of sodium and chloride ions, in kidneys. Sodium and chloride ions in kidneys. Right? Now look at here. What I've given on the slide. I'm coming to that one. What I said here, adrenal cortex secretes 3 types of hormones. Here you have 3 types of hormone. Now what is the major type? Glucocorticoids, mineral corticoids. Now glucocorticoids accounts for 95% of adrenal cortex hormone. It increases the level of glucose in the blood. What I've given there. It releases in response of stress, like for example wound, injury. In that case, glucocorticoids are released. They're more into that part, right? And what comes the next one here? This one. It works to regulate the concentration of potassium and sodium in the body. Retention part of urine comes there. Now, what is very important? Prolonged increase. Now remember that. Prolonged increase in adrenal cortex hormone result into Cushing disease. You have seen that. Adnan Sami. What happens there? Fats. Right? They're called what type of disease? Cushing disease. Right? Clear? Why it happens? Why it happens? Because of more release of these hormones. Glucocorticoids and this part. That's what happens there. You have the photograph also there. You can see that. An increase in blood glucose level, unusual body fat distribution, right? This rapid mood swings. Rapid mood swings also happens. You have seen those kind of person there, which they have this kind of thing. This happens because of the disorder, because of which hormone? What we have discussed right now. adrenal cortex. Clear this is up to? Right? Now I'm coming to this one. Endocrine mineralocorticoids, they have given the serious electrolyte balance. I have said sodium, chloride, iron, kidney and the water part of that comes into that. Okay? So that is what called here. Now I'm coming to the last part, gonad. Right? Now gonads part and their gonads and ovaries, endocrine gland, now understand. If you talk about ovaries, so function of ovaries are controlled through the posterior gland hormones, LH and FSH. And I've already mentioned what are the function of them, right? Now what is very important? Estrogen and progesterone, not progesterone, progesterone, right? Female sex hormone, right? The two parts which comes here, estrogen and progesterone, right? Now both of these have what? Several functions, including sexual development and preparation for of the uterus for implantation of the egg. That's what the function comes. And the secondary sexual characteristics. So this happens where? Female, in female kind of thing. Whereas a male, like a testis, where you find testis? Scrotum. That is scrotum part. And it helps produce sperms for reproduction. Then testosterone. LH, I mentioned the luteinizing hormone. That is in terms of the growth and, so promotes male growth and masculinization. And controlled by both the hormone. Will be controlled by the, all three hormones. Progesterone, estrogen, testosterone are controlled by FSH and LH. FSH and LH are secreted by pituitary gland. They control those kind of functions, right? So this what function I've said here, and diabetes, this I've already mentioned there. So you can write there, final part you can write. You can write this last final part, gonads. There is gonads. Now you can write this. Testis in males, I'll add my testis in males. Testis in males, TES, in males produces, possess two kinds of cells. Possess two kinds of cells. Dash, right, dash. Same sentence, right? The sperm producing germinal, GERMINAL, sperm producing germinal cells and germinal cells and the hormone producing inter-STITIL, interstitial, INTERSTITIAL, interstitial cells. Now, after you full stop, interstitial cells, the hormones produced are called androgens. The hormones produced are called androgens. 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 And the common one is, what is the name of the hormone? Testosterone, right? Common one is testosterone. TESTOS, testos, right? TERONE, testosterone. कब उसका रोल ज़्यादा होता है? You know that? Puberty. What is the word called? Puberty. PUBERTY. तो उस समय क्या होता है? वो बच्चे वाली आवाज़ नहीं रहती है. Grave voice. What happens? The voice become grave. All those kind of secondary growth that happens there. That part is there, right? Now taking first of right. Ovaries in female, right? Ovaries in females. After the next paragraph, ovaries in female produce two kinds of hormones. Dash estrogen, ESTROGEN, estrogen and progesterone. Is already there on the slide. Estrogen and progesterone. Now to give full stop, right? Estrogen is secreted by the follicles. Estrogen is secreted by the follicles of the ovary, comma. Progesterone is secreted by the, I have mentioned that word earlier, corpus luteum, secreted by the corpus, corpus, corpus luteum, luteum, luteum. Now, give a stop there. It helps in, right? It helps in several functions. It helps in several functions, comma, including, it helps in several functions, including, including, second, including sexual development, including sexual development, comma, comma, um, development and eukaryote and preparation of uterus for implantation of the egg, preparation of uterus for the implantation of the egg, implantation of the egg, ठीक, implantation of the egg. Now understand here. Give first of there. These are the main one which I have given there. Though when you read NCERT book or any book, you'll come across thymus also. There's a gland called thymus, which later degenerates. A thymus gland gives the part of the, one function what I mentioned last time, lymphatic system, T cell. But thymus can also release there. You will also come across in biology book about stomach. Stomach can also release hormone in terms of digestion, what is called gastrin. That gastrin kind of thing, which helps in the release of the digestive enzyme and the function of that. Absorption. Sometimes stomach and intestine, what absorptions are there. But what I gave you that, this is the thing which you have to know for the examination. So I took time. See, I could have simply given you the list and shown you the table. But I gave you this thing along with the part which will have the PowerPoint, so that any question, if in case UPSC asks next year, you are prepared with it. That you have to, or any exam, that has to be there, right? Now, just a short break. We'll take just a short break here. And after that, I'll come to, now the part which I'll come, I will not give you dictation part of it. So something I'm giving there, which is important for the exam. Others I'll put into the explanation part. So we'll come into that. Circulatory, excretory and respiration digestion part. The part of it, right? Right. You want a break or should I continue? Whatever, how many people want there? Right. Okay, just like 5 minutes, not more than that. Just 5 minutes. I'll have green tea, just 5 minutes. Not more than that. Now we are going to have very interesting areas also there. We'll learn about that, right? प्रेशर मिलता है, सही बात है, मतलब नहीं एंड नहीं, मैं एक बार डॉक्टर साहब से अपना कुछ मैं पूछूंगा, मतलब आई नीड समथिंग देयर. सिद्धार्थ का भी है फैमिली बैकग्राउंड है ना, नहीं इसका पापा है उसके डॉक्टर. Okay, friends, let's go into that, and let's come to that. So endocrine system, since it was important for the exam, so I've gone into all those written part. Now let's come to this one, digestive system, right? So digestive system consists of mouth, starts from the mouth, then we have esophagus. It goes esophagus, this is the food pipe. Then along with that we also have windpipe, trachea, which goes. But the digestive system starts from mouth, then goes to esophagus, then it comes to stomach. And from stomach, small intestine, large intestine, then rectus and anus. So what you see right now, you have this belly and this stomach, right? And then you have small intestine, duodenum, jejunum, ileum. And then what you can find there, in terms of large intestine. Large intestine, you have there colon, then you have ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, then goes to rectus and anus. So I'll give you the entire part of it. See what you have to learn from the exam. This is just a normal understanding. Processing of food types, one is called mechanical. Let's say when we take food, like teeth and the mouth there, so we chew, we tear, we grind, mash and mix. This is what happens. This happens in the mouth, right, with the help of teeth. Now chemical comes catabolic. I'll now come to this part. Metabolism, I have said two types, is anabolic and catabolic. Digestive system works on catabolic process. What is catabolic process? Breakdown process. Right, where glucose or carbohydrate will be broken down, proteins will be broken down, or fats will be broken down. So there, catabolism, that is a chemical reaction, and that happens with the help of enzymes. Number of enzymatic reactions take place. Like here, I have written there hydrolysis, like protein, carbohydrate, and lipid part of comes there. Now there's phases, there 5 are there. When you read NCERT book, you'll come across digestion involves 5 phases. One is called ingestion. When you take the food, right, then comes movement. The movement of that food bolus. What is food bolus? In the mouth, the mixing part. The mouth we have saliva, amylase. That breaks down the starch and carbohydrate. And then the food what after the chewing and tearing apart and all mixed with the saliva, that called bolus, B-O-L-U-S. And that travels to esophagus. There's something called peristalsis. There's a movement called peristalsis. Where there's an involuntary movement. It's not under our control. Involuntary movement. This peristaltic movement helps that food bolus to reach to the stomach. Right, the movement comes. And then in stomach, the process of digestion starts. Right, digestion process one starts from the mouth, amylase, starch. But actual digestion happens in stomach and intestine. Right, now there's an absorption, digestion will be breaking down. At the same time, there will be absorption by the lining of the stomach and the intestine. Now we'll find that, I have said in the classroom that stomach and intestine lining also have something called villi, V-I-L-I, or microvilli, by which it can absorb amino acid or any kind of a smaller molecules. And that goes to the blood. It does microvilli connect to the blood stream and that goes into that. So further digestion can take place in intestine. Right. I'll give you certain important information here. This one. GI tract is the anatomy part. Gastrointestinal tract. It is also called as alimentary canal. It's basically tube within a tube. Right. We already have a passage and the tube within tube. Direct link a path between organs. And what the structures are there? There's something called secondary structure in digestion. What are the primary? Which start mouth and all this part. But there may be some kind of a accessory organs. Right, what are the accessory organs? Salivary gland. It produces saliva. Then I have said what? Liver and pancreas. Liver produces bile juice, which can go to pancreas. Again, pancreatic enzymes will be there. So they help in digestion. They're also part of it. So what I've given on the slide here is that mouth, oral cavity, then comes pharynx. Right, what is pharynx there? Pharynx is basically the part which separates there from trachea, the wind, and the for larynx, and larynx comes there in terms of the air, like a windpipe and all this. Pharynx in terms of that, and there's something called, there is sphincter. What is sphincter? Which controls that part. एक यहाँ word आता है epiglottis. So what is epiglottis? Where epiglottis comes? कहाँ होता है? Throat में होता है, throat के part. Epiglottis होता है. Right? My name is Khan. Shahrukh Khan, right? You have said that from epiglottis. Epiglottis is part of that, which separates the oral, this part of that, it comes into that. Again, that what comes there? You have the food pipe, esophagus. That is what you have given. Pharynx, esophagus, E-S-O-P-H-A-G-U-S, esophagus. That's called food pipe. That leads to stomach, then duodenum, jejunum, ileum. I have written wrong spelling there. Ileum is not K. I is there. Okay, गलती से आ गया. Duodenum, jejunum, ileum. These three are called small intestine. Small or large? Small. Then what comes? Large intestine. What is large intestine? Cecum, or sometimes cecum. Cecum. Then you have colon. Colon is ascending, transverse, descending. Three colon word comes. Ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon. And then you have here transverse colon and descending colon. Last you find rectus, and rectus will meet with the anus, by which the final part, after removal of water, nutrients, everything, what removes the dried part, that goes into a kind of a outside the body. That is called ficus. Ficus goes outside the body, right? इसमें ज़्यादातर क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछा जाता है. That's what यहाँ सिंपल अंडरस्टैंडिंग के तौर पे ये पता होना चाहिए कि यहाँ पे उतना ज़्यादा क्वेश्चन नहीं होगा द जनरल एनाटॉमी पार्ट में जो है, राइट. So now this is a descending colon, then you have rectum and anus. Accessory structure I have said teeth, tongue, then salivary glands, liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. They help in that. So let's say you get a question in the exam. Question can be like this: कि which of these are accessory organs in digestion? 1, 2, 3, 4. Liver, number 2, gallbladder, number 3, stomach. So 1 and 2 only. That kind of question there, right? So they help in digestion part through chemical form, chemical energy part of that. Now coming to this one. कई बार ये क्वेश्चन भी आता है टीथ, ह्यूमन टीथ there, and you know that child, दूध का दांत, right? And what we have adult. तो कितने दांत होते हैं? नहीं, how much we have? बोलते हैं क्या बोलते हैं? बत्तीसी, बत्तीसी निकालते हैं. बत्तीसी होता है, छत्तीसी होता है, बत्तीसी, बत्तीसी, right? बत्तीसी होता है ना, बत्तीसी, 32, right? तो what are the types there? Now let me come to that. 4 types. ठीक है, ये याद रखना है. 4 types. You have first this motor, right? Now this what you see here, it is called as a what is called as a deciduous or milk teeth. Milk, दूध का दांत. ठीक है, तो दूध के दांत में कितने दांत होते हैं? If you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 below, 10 lower jaw and 10 upper jaw. These are the 20. As an adult, what I said, 32. That comes into that. Now the teeth are 4 types. The first one what call them molar. They're the back. What do you call chawa? Right? This comes the last one, the molar teeth. Then you have what premolar also there. Molar, premolar. Then you have canine, काटने वाला जो होता है, well, biting part, canine. Then comes here lateral. You have a lateral teeth, and then you have your incisor. The 2 tooth, the first जो निकलता है 6 महीने के, आजकल 5 महीने में भी हो जाता है, जो पहले दूध का दांत जो निकलता है 2, है ना? You have seen the child, small, छोटे से दांत, incisor, that comes. Then the rest of things comes. On the adult case, when you talk adult case, we have more there. We have molar there. We have how many there? There are 3 molar. First molar 6 to 7 years के age में होता है. Then second molar 12 to 13 years, and the third molar, what's called wisdom tooth, when person gets wisdom, right? Vivek. So when person becomes Vivek Purn, then have 17 to 25 years. That wisdom age can be 70 to 25 years. That depends on when you become wisdom. You acquire wisdom. ठीक है? I've given in the slide there कि कितने एज में वो होता है. 3 will be there, both those sides, 6 and above 6, total 12, right? Something called formula. There's a formula to remember also there. Now what comes here? Premolar. तो bicuspids, the first premolar 11 साल की उम्र में होता है, सेकेंड premolar 12 से 13 साल की उम्र में होता है. फिर canine जो है 11 साल की उम्र में, that is दांत टूटना होता है, then lateral 8 साल, और incisor जो है 7 साल में. So that is how the growth happens there. Now what is the role of teeth? दांत का काम क्या है? Digestion का part है, chewing, cutting, biting, all those things. Digestion, that part comes there, right? Now further, stomach. What is shape of the stomach? J, shaped like J, right? And then what comes there? Left side, right? Left side of this part of stomach, this, and anterior to the spleen, liver spleen के anterior मैंने बताया था बाहर की ओर, right? There comes there. Now there is a mucous membrane. What do you know? Stomach is lined by a mucous membrane, right? Mucous membrane, and there is something called G cell, gastrin. This stands for gastrin. G cell is there, which makes gastrin, is a digestive juice, digestive enzyme. Then goblet cells, very important one, which makes mucus, goblet cells. Then you have gastric pit, oxyntic gland, parietal cells, very important, parietal cells, which make hydrochloric acid, HCl. Right? You know that stomach is acidic. So from where the hydrochloric acid comes? Parietal cell. That is part of that. Then what comes here? Chief cells, gymnogenic cells, which secrete 2 type of enzymes, pepsin and gastric lipase. Always remember that ASE word, amylase, lipase, all these ones what? Enzyme breaking down. So when you say gastric lipase, that means stomach fats or fatty acid will be broken down. Lipids will be broken down, right? And pepsin is an enzyme which helps in breaking the down proteins. Protein breakdown happens there. ठीक है, पेप्सिन एंड पेप्सिनोजन, दिस कम्स इनटू दैट. तो वो फैक्चुअल पार्ट याद रखना होगा, दैट पार्ट कम्स इनटू दैट. नाउ व्हाट कम्स हियर, स्टोमक. ये फंक्शंस हैं. आई विल गिव यू वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट अंडरस्टैंडिंग हियर. वन इज दैट स्टार्ट डाइजेशन ऑफ प्रोटीन. एग्जाम्पल क्या याद रखना है, इट प्रोटीन, न्यूक्लिक एसिड एंड फैट्स. Carbohydrate start from the mouth, amylase, it goes into that, and it activates some enzyme like called gastrin. Gastrin, I have mentioned that gastrin can have some kind of a hormonal kind of reaction part also. They can activate other enzyme like pepsinogen to pepsin. Right, that part comes. Now destroys some bacteria. Why? It is acidic in nature. So some kind of harmful bacteria will be killed by the stomach. Then what comes here? Makes intrinsic factor B12 absorption. Very important one. B12 riboflavin, right? Also is very important because in terms of the function, and comes into the, it is made by stomach, right, stomach part. Lack of B12 riboflavin causes one disease called pernicious anemia. Pernicious anemia होता है. So B12 there absorbs and then goes to the blood. Then what comes, destroys some bacteria. हाँ, नहीं मैं ये चीज़ यहीं से पढ़ना है, इसमें मैं लिखवाऊंगा नहीं, ये पढ़ना है इसमें ये. हाँ हाँ नहीं ये नहीं नहीं मैं इसलिए, अच्छा चलो चलो मैं कुछ पार्ट में लिखवा दूंगा. अच्छा ठीक है, मैं सुनो मैं लिखवा दूँगा. एक्चुअली क्या है, इसमें ज़्यादा क्वेश्चन नहीं आता, इसलिए मैंने इसको पावर पॉइंट में रख दिया है. मैं समझ गया. आई गिव यू समथिंग ऑन दैट. अच्छा ठीक है, पहले ओवरव्यू आप समझ लो, आप लेट मी गो टू दैट. ठीक है, यहाँ क्लियर है, अप टू हियर इज क्लियर, राइट. नाउ व्हाट इज सेड, व्हेन यू टेक दिस alcohol, it absorbs the alcohol, stomach, then water, when drink water also, then lipophilic acid, this comes there, B12, all this get absorbed by the stomach. Clear? Stomach comes into that. Now I'll come to it. कार्बोहाइड्रेट, वो कार्बोहाइड्रेट जो जो होता है, ऑल सब ब्रेक डाउन. क्या चीज, रेनिन. हाँ, रेनिन इज ऑल्सो एंजाइम. हाँ, विच राइट, रेनिन which breaks down the leaf, this the milk and this part. Those are there. There, हाँ, pepsin, lot of things are there which are their enzymes. I'll give you that part also. Saliva contains amylase. हाँ, amylase. Amylase, which is a starch. Break down the starch, amylase. Right? I'll give you certain thing. Now let me just come to that. Small intestine. ये भी इसका देते हैं. Small intestine. This is how it looks like. ठीक है? So duodenum, jejunum, ileum. This is how it will function. So what the small intestine does? It absorbs 80% of water. Then sodium ion, potassium ion, all these absorbed. Then vitamins, minerals, then carbonates, then proteins, which are, because remember that digestion process keeps on continuing with the intestine. Then you have lipids, monoglyceride, fatty acid, then micelle. What is micelle? That's the group of the lipids. That is from micelle what comes here. And then there's what is we find here? Chylomicrons. So this takes place in small intestine, right? Now I'll come to what? Large intestine. Now small intestine, this is broken down here. These are broken down. Now understand what happens in small intestine? Peptidase enzyme that will help in breaking the peptide, right? Amino acid, dipeptide, tripeptide, amino. Then sucrases will break down the sucrose, right? Maltose. Then lactase, milk, the lactose. Then saccharidases, disaccharide, trisaccharide, polysaccharide, all these will go there, di and tri. Lipase, lipids will be broken down. Nucleases will break down the nucleic acid. These are the name of enzymes which break down those kind of what I've given the names there. They are broken down, right? They are broken down in where? Small intestine, right? Now large intestine. So there, small intestine comes in this one. Let me come to large intestine. This one. Cecum, this comes here. It has got something vestigial organ, vestigial. VESTIGIL. What is called as the appendix. Right? Then you have colon, what is ascending, transverse, descending, and rectum and anal canal. By the time when the digestion, absorption. Small intestine absorbs and everything. The water and all this what is taken up. Now by the time it reaches to the large intestine, most of the absorption have taken place. Right. Still there will be still more absorption, but most of thing happens. But as it passes through large intestine, water and all is taken up, and that becomes the without water. There is a hardened part in this, less water which comes there. Is what mechanical digestion, chemical digestion, bacterial digestion, protein amino acid breakdown, absorbs more water, vitamins like B and K, and the concentrate eliminate waste. That what comes as a fecal, right? That goes through the anus. So the last part of the absorption takes place in the large intestine. Okay? Again remember that the names here, the each and the part, that you have to remember, along with the enzymes name. Right? इसमें ज़्यादा उतना फंक्शन का नहीं है. मेन एस्पेक्ट ऑफ दिस ये इसको याद रखना है. मैकेनिकल मैकेनिकल मतलब वो वहाँ भी चर्निंग होगा ब्रेक डाउन में. मैकेनिकल मतलब हाँ हाँ इंटरेस्ट which moves through that one, right? Now let me do one thing. Just you write there. I'll put across something. So what I've done here is I put up certain facts, but I'll give you certain things there. Okay, now write this something. The digestive system, right? The digestive system in human consists of. The digestive system in humans consists of an alimentary canal. I repeat again. Digestive systems in humans consists of an alimentary canal and associated digestive glands. Associated digestive glands. Digestive gland. Now give a full stop there. Digestive glands, GLA and DS. Give a full stop. It is a continuous muscular digestive tube. It is a continuous muscular digestive tube that runs through the body. After giving full stop, you write, it has the following parts. Dash, give a dash. Number one, first, mouth. It has the following parts, dash. Number one, mouth. Same sentence you write, mouth and associated organs. In bracket you write teeth. T-E-E-T-H. Teeth, comma, tongue. Associated organs, in bracket teeth, comma, tongue, comma, just close the bracket. There will be also salivary gland.
What is the role of esophagus?
Esophagus is the movement of the food. You can say esophagus connect the mouth, oral cavity to the stomach. The pipe there which comes in. मैं इस पे भी आ रहा हूँ. तो is clear first mouth and associated organs. Now write number two, second word, pharynx. P-H-A-R-Y-N-X. Pharynx. P-H-A-R-Y-N-X. Pharynx or throat. T-H-R-O-A-T. Throat. Now just give a dash, write a sentence there. A cavity at the back of the mouth. A cavity at the back of the mouth. Give us of there. It is a common passage. Back of the mouth. Full stop. It is a common passage for the. It is a common passage for the inhaled. I-N-H-A-L-E-D. Inhaled air. And swallowed. S-W-A-L-L-O-W-E-D. double L-O-W-E-D, swallowed food, swallowed food. Now, number third, esophagus. Sometimes in the book, O will also be given. But if you want, you write E-S, E-S-O-P-H-A-G-U-S, esophagus. Right? In bracket, write food pipe. What is esophagus? Food pipe. Bracket close. Now write dash there. A narrow tube, a narrow tube, a narrow tube arising from pharynx, arising from pharynx, comma, continuing and ending with, continuing and ending with stomach, and ending with stomach, stomach, continuing and ending with stomach. Now, continuous and ending with stomachs then. Now, one more sentence you write, which I'm adding there. The food moves through, the food moves through the esophagus, the food moves through the esophagus by peristaltic, peristaltic, P-E-R-I-S-T-A-L-T-I-C. I'll repeat it. Peristaltic, 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 taltic movement. Peristaltic movement. I'll explain what is peristaltic movement. Contraction and this part of that. Involuntary motion, movement, by which the food goes to the stomach. Peristaltic movement. And is all controlled through brain, involuntary function. Right? Now after giving stop, now write next one. Number 4, stomach. Number 4, stomach. Now write, give a dash, right? An elastic bag with highly muscular walls. Elastic bag with highly muscular walls, comma, J-shaped, S-H-A-P-E-D, J-shaped, comma, give comma, located below the, I'm giving the name there, located below the diaphragm, D-I-A-P-H-R-A-G-M, below the diaphragm. Why is diaphragm? Diaphragm is the part where the lungs ends, the diaphragm. Right? Now, next one you write. Small intestine. Small intestine. Now write small intestine. Dash, you write a tube about a tube, T-U-B, tube about 7 meters long. A tube about 7 meters long and about 2.5 centimeter wide. 7 meters long and 2.5 centimeter wide. Now write, give a comma there, comma, much, M-U-S-H, much coiled, C-O-I-L-E-D, coiled and folded, much coiled and folded, comma, give a comma, contained in the abdomen, contained in the abdomen, A-B-D-O-M-E-N, give a full stop there. It is further subdivided into dash number 1, duodenum is further subdivided into dash duodenum. I'm also putting this name there. Duodenum, D-U-O-D-E-N-U-M. You have on the slide here. Now just give a dash there. Duodenum. Right. Short, S-H-O-R-T, short upper part next to the stomach. Next to stomach. Now after that, number 2, second, jejunum. J-E-J-U, jejunum, sorry, J-E-J-E-N-U-M. Sometimes in the book you'll find J-E-J-U-N-U-M also given. right? Jejunum. Now you write dash, you write slightly longer, slightly longer, slightly longer part, PART part, comma, about 2 meters long, about 2 meters long, about 2 meters long. Now third you write ilium, ILEUM, ilium. Now give a dash there, just give a dash. Longest, right? Longest, comma, about 4 meters long, longest, comma, about 4 meters long, comma, coiled, 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 and twisted, coiled and twisted, coiled and twisted. Okay? So certain thing is in there, but I've given the part also. In case question comes there, you should know that. And the last you can write large intestine, number 5. Number 5 you write large intestine, and I'll give you their function also there. Large intestine, right? Large intestine, about 15 meters long, about 15 meters long, about no, कितना लंबा होगा? Just 1 second. अच्छा तो ये लगता है मिस हो गया होगा. There is written here 15 meters. Okay. Anyway, one is okay. Let me do one. Let me do. Which is bigger? Let me come. If the question comes in, small intestine. ठीक है? तो यहाँ पर ये miss out हो गया. Right. About 1.5 meters. इसलिए वही डॉक्टर साहब को रहना बहुत जरूरी है. Sometimes there may be a factual error in the book also there. About 1.5 meters long. So what is very important? Large intestine does not mean large, right? So 1.5 meters long. नहीं small का हाँ. वहाँ absorption small large दोनों absorption होता है ना वो चीज़ मैं I'll come to that one also. About 1.5 meters long and has 3 parts and has 3 parts and has 3 parts. Dash number 1. CAECUM or CA whatever you CAE you correct CAECUM CAECUM, right? Here on the slide you have CECUM CAECUM CAECUM, right? Dash, just give a dash small blind pouch, BLIND, blind pouch at the junction, small blind pouch at the junction of small and large intestine, at the junction of small and large intestine, give a comma there. A narrow NARROW, narrow worm, WORM, worm shaped tube of narrow worm shaped tubes called what is that shaped tube called? Appendix. I've given on the slide there, called vermiform, right there, called VERMIFORM, vermiform appendix. Vermiform appendix projects from it, vermiform appendix projects from it. ठीक है? तो यहाँ क्या फैक्चुअल याद रखना है? अगर कभी क्वेश्चन आ गया कि अपेंडिक्स किससे है, तो दैट इज अ सीकम, केकम, एंड केकम इज अ पार्ट ऑफ लार्ज इंटेस्टाइन, राइट? नाउ नंबर 2, सेकेंड, colon, COLON, colon. Now write a little over 1 meter long, a little over 1 meter long, comma, it has 3 parts, termed, it has 3 parts termed ascending, 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 comma, transverse, ascending, comma, transverse, and descending limbs, LIMBS. ascending, transverse, and descending limbs. Now the third one, the last one of large intestine, third one, rectum, 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 right, dash, about 15 centimeter long, about 15 centimeter long, comma, has two parts, 15 centimeter long, comma, has two parts, dash, give a dash there. The rectum, rectum, proper, rectum proper, and rectum proper and anal, anal, anal canal. Now take full stop. Last sentence in the same point you can write. Anal canal, give full stop. Anus, anus, anus is the external opening. Anus is the external opening surrounded by. Anus is the external opening surrounded by circular, muscular sphincter, SPHINCTERS, sphincters, right, sphincters, right, give a full stop there. So this is the structural part which I've given there, right. Now I'm coming to sphincter part I mentioned there. Let me see if there is any kind of documentary. ये बंद हो गया? Okay, anyway, you can write there. ये बंद हो गया. The laptop is gone. ये बंद हो गया. Okay, you can write this. Just give a heading: digestive glands. Digestive glands. In bracket, you write sources of digestive enzymes. Digestive glands in bracket. Sources of digestive enzymes. Now we write in a sentence form. There are two sources of digestive enzymes. The two sources of digestive enzymes. Dash number one, stomach and intestine. Number one, stomach and intestine. And number two, salivary glands, salivary, SALIVARY, salivary glands, comma, the liver and the pancreas. Salivary glands, comma, liver and pancreas as spatial glands, Now after that you write the salivary glands is secreted by salivary glands secretes, right? Secretes saliva which contains amylase, AMYLASE, in bracket. I'm giving the another name. What is the another name of amylase? It's called tyline. P, right, spelling in bracket, right? PTYLINE. Sometimes may not be amylase written. Tyline. PTYLINE. Bracket closed. Tyline, which breaks down carbohydrate, in the mouth. Breaks down carbohydrate in the mouth. Now you'll first stop there. It is secreted by parotid, like that. It is secreted by parotid, PAROTID, parotid glands, ROPAROTID, parotid, ठीक है, पारो को याद रखना. तो parotid glands, saliva, parotid gland, समझ रहे हैं ना? पारो Devdas, parotid gland. Now I'm coming to right next paragraph. Liver, now right, very important point giving. There's an exam for ये आपका quick revision part आसान रहेगा. थोड़ा time लग रहा है लेकिन ठीक है. He has asked that, that's what I'm saying. It's some important facts you should have. Liver, right? The liver, next paragraph. Liver is the largest gland. Liver is the largest gland. Liver is the largest gland, comma, located in the upper right side. Liver is the largest gland located in the upper side of the abdomen. Upper side of the abdomen. Upper side of the abdomen and secretes SECRETES and secretes bile, BILE, bile juice, JUICE. एक है popular juice नीचे bile juice, right? Don't write popular juice there. Right? Bile juice. Bile juice, right? Now, you understand Hindi, no? You understand, no? Okay. When you ask me, I'll translate in English also there. Okay. Bile juice, right? No, bile juice. Now, right, give a full stop there. Bile juice. You do one thing more. Bile juice. I'll give something more there. Bile juice, which gets collected, right? Which gets collected, I'll add something on, which gets collected, very important part, organ I'm saying, which gets collected in gallbladder, GALL, gallbladder, right? Gallbladder, one is called gall, not this gall, there's another gall there, right? American way, right? American way say gall, guys and girls, right? There's the gallbladder, right? Gallbladder, right? Siddharth, understood this? Okay, gallbladder. So gallbladder now and is finally uh, released into the duodenum through the common bile duct. Duodenum through the common bile duct. Okay? There's a bile duct. What happens? The liver make the bile. That is through gallbladder. The gallbladder, and then it is secreted to the duodenum. So you have to remember the fact, duodenum. Duodenum is the part of the small intestine, right? And that happens through common bile duct. That what comes there. Now, from where the bile is made? This I have explained earlier also. What is bile? Emulsification and all this. From where this bilirubin and bilirubin. When hemoglobin, like RBC, death of the RBC, graveyard is what? Liver. So what happens there? Bilirubin, right? Bilirubin into bilirubin. Yellow color, greenish yellow color, bilirubin to the bilirubin there. And iron part is recycled. It goes to the bone marrow for the making. And that bile secreted. Right? So duodenum. That part, remember that. Now after that, you write pancreas. After the next paragraph. Now what will happen? Bile juice is basic or acidic, right? Alkaline or acidic. What bile juice contains? It has the forms of emulsification. Emulsification में क्या चीज रहेगा वहाँ पर? Acidic होगा, basic होगा. Salts होते हैं, सोडियम, पोटेशियम वगैरह. तो इसका pH क्या होना चाहिए? नहीं, pH तो फुल जाओ. Basic और alkaline और acidic. डॉक्टर साहब, what acidic or alkaline? Basic, alkaline. Alkaline part, not acidic. Alkaline part will be there. Right? So this comes into alkaline part of it. Right? Now what I am coming? Pancreas. So one part we learned in today's class, pancreas, endocrine gland.
गॉलब्लैडर नहीं हुआ तो उसके ऑल्टरनेटिव में क्या होगा?
Gallbladder, हाँ gallbladder और
नहीं हुआ जैसे एनिमल जैसे कैमल में नहीं होता.
हाँ.
इसके ऑल्टरनेटिव में क्या हुआ सर?
इसके ऑल्टरनेटिव में क्या होगा?
स्टोन्स हो जाते हैं गॉलब्लैडर
हाँ उसमें होता है गॉलब्लैडर में.
गॉलब्लैडर, हाँ गॉलब्लैडर को प्रॉब्लम भी आता है. हाँ भाई नहीं रिमूव कई बार नहीं गॉलब्लैडर को रिमूव नहीं किया जाता है.
वही तो कंफ्यूजन होता है ना, जैसे मेरी मदर का इंप्रेशन हुआ
हाँ.
उसको पित्ता बोलते हैं.
हाँ हाँ पित्त पित्त बोलते हैं।
ज्यादा स्टोन्स हो गई, आई डोंट नो भी वो गॉलब्लैडर रिमूव कर दिया या पार्ट
क्या करते हैं डॉक्टर साहब? मूव कर देते हैं, मतलब रिमूव कर देते हैं, तो फिर क्या होगा? डायरेक्ट सिक्रेशन होगा, फिर डायरेक्ट होगा वहाँ पर वही चीज़, डायरेक्ट होगा। राइट, ये भी से पित्त बोलते हैं, पित्त पित्त जो होता है, पित्त हो जाना पर पित्त की थैली जो बोलते हैं, वही सेम चीज़ होता है। He's right there. So then that case they'll remove there, and then there will be direct secretion to the duodenum. फिर स्मॉल इंटेस्टाइन डाइट होगा वो पार्ट। आर्टिफिशियल गाल ब्लैडर पूरा निकाल देता हूँ। नहीं, वो हो सकता है फॉर टेम्परेरी रखा जाए, दैट इज अ थिंग दैट कैन बी देयर। राइट नाउ पैंक्रियाज, राइट पैंक्रियाज is a reddish brown. Pancreas is a reddish brown gland, reddish brown gland located in the bend of the duodenum, located in the bend of the duodenum, and secretes pancreatic enzymes. Secretes pancreatic enzymes into the duodenum. Pancreatic enzymes into the duodenum. Right? Give first of that. Now, what I want to bring here into duodenum that comes there. Now, see here, mechanical and chemical. This part I have given here, right? This word, I'll add something different here. What you have here, this requires pancreatic enzymes, right? Small intestine, duodenum, and that comes from the pancreas, right? And also in terms of, I've said gallbladder and liver part. Now enzymes are bile to complete digestion. Now what happens in small intestine? Like this one. These are the enzymes. Clear? So I'm not giving you the written part of enzymes. Enzymes are this one. Peptidases, then sucrases, maltase, lactase, all this comes into that. Whereas when you talk about large intestine here, right? So large intestine will also contain, and then there is a final absorption, which a smaller part is taken up in that case. Now what is the digestive process which I said? Mechanical, chemical. Chemical require enzymatic process there. Number of digestive enzymes are involved with that. Now what I'm coming here as a part of this, let me just give you the something on that. Okay, this right here. Just do that. Small intestine. I'll add something on that. Small intestine. This right is small intestine. In the small intestine, I'll give you the digestion, but in the small intestine, the food which is partially digested. In the small intestine, the food which is partially digested in the stomach, is called, I'm giving you an important word, you can write it in inverted commas, CHYME, chyme. Partially digested is called chyme, 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 inverted commas closed, and is acted upon three main digestive enzymes. Acted upon by three main digestive enzymes. Number one first, bile from the liver. Then number two, pancreatic enzymes. And the third, pancreatic enzymes, and the third, very important, intestinal, right? Intestinal, INTESTINAL, intestinal enzyme secreted from epithelium. Right? Now give full stop. Now what he was asking, whether we have villi, VILLI, or villi. So this contains villi also. You will same point you write there. The intestinal lining contains lining Lining, lining contains villi. Spelling of villi is VLLI, VILLI. ठीक है, तो ये भी पार्ट मैंने यहाँ कर दिया है. नाउ कमिंग टू लार्ज इंटेस्टाइन. Chyme, remember that. What is chyme? Semi-digested food. We can in short can call it semi-digested food. Okay? Food bolus is what? From mouth it goes to stomach. Right? So this word you should remember that. Now you can write large intestine. Yeah, it is large intestine. या एक और मैं इंफॉर्मेशन दे देता हूँ, ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट होगा. The name of the enzymes also. Let me give you the enzymes name also. Now just after that you write large intestine. अभी रुक जाओ, ये भी important हो सकता है एग्जाम के लिए. You write this one. The pancreatic enzymes are 6 in numbers. The pancreatic enzymes are 6 in numbers and act in an alkaline medium. Act in an alkaline medium. Act in an alkaline medium. Alkaline medium. Right? Give a dash there. Dash. Now you write the name of the enzymes. First, number one, amylase. So remember that there is also amylase in the pancreatic enzyme. AMYLASE. Amylase. Number two, lipase. 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 Number third, nucleases. 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 I'll just open this. Nucleases. Okay? Now, fourth one, very important. You can write this. Trypsinogen. 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 You write in the bracket there. Trypsinogen के बारे में लिख लो आप. Trypsinogen, you write this. Is made from its inactive precursor. Is made from its inactive precursor called trypsin. Let me explain here. What I've written here. This trypsinogen is basically an active form and is made from the inactive form of trypsin. And then I'm also giving one very important name here. There's something called enterokinase. Right? What is enterokinase? Which convert trypsin into trypsinogen. So you write this. Old trypsinogen so that the inactive precursor, trypsin. Now, the same point you write. Give a comma. Trypsinogen is activated into trypsin. Trypsinogen is activated into trypsin by the enzyme enterokinase. Entero, I'll spell it out. ENTEROKINASE. Enterokinase. ENTEROKINAS. Secreted by the lining of duodenum. Secreted by the lining of duodenum. Secreted by the lining of the duodenum. Now tell me what this trypsin will do. This, if you can see here, I have given here peptidases and pepsin there. They break down proteins. Right? You want to write? You write the full stop. Inner lining, the lining of duodenum. I write give full stop. Trypsin, TRYPSIN. Trypsin breaks down the protein. Breaks down proteins into peptides. Breaks down proteins into peptides and amino acids. Peptides and amino acids. ठीक है यहाँ तक clear है? Now I'm coming fifth enzyme, number 5. Number 5, chymotrypsin. 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 chymotryp- chymotrypsin, write in a bracket or dash, whatever you want to write, acts on milk protein. It's very important point. Chymotrypsin acts on milk protein, and the name of this milk protein is, I'm writing here, casein, casein. Milk protein casein, casein. Milk protein casein, right? Casein, and converts other proteins into peptides. Convert other proteins into peptides. Two role is there. It can break down milk protein casein. Now this is called as a paracasein and something. Like you have seen that curd वगैरह जो होता है, that curd. Or it can convert other proteins into peptides. Now sixth one you get, number 6. Chymotrypsin given, number 6 you write. Carboxypeptidase, number 6. Carboxypeptidases. Carboxypeptidase. Now write this, acts on peptides to produce smaller peptides and amino acids. Smaller peptides and amino acids. Now you can, after that you write intestinal enzyme. Now write this. Give a heading there. Intestinal enzyme. Intestine also produce enzyme. I'm coming to that one. Intestinal enzyme. Write this. Intestinal enzymes. So we write first, number 1, glycosidase. 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 Sidase. Glycosidase. You write there. Dash it. Includes maltase. Includes maltase, 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 sucrase and lactase. Includes maltase, right? Maltase, sucrase and lactase. What is the role there? What I've written there? Disaccharide, monosaccharide. They break down the, let's say, bigger size carbohydrate into smaller one. So they may convert maltose to smaller form or sucrose to smaller form, glucose form, right? That is what called glycose part of. Now, number 2, right? Number 2, lipase, Lipase, lipase. Lipase breaks down lipids and fats. Lipids and fats. Now, number 3, peptidases, 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 right, breaks down into amino acids. Peptidases breaks down peptides into, breaks down peptides into amino acids. And third one we could write nucleases, 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 breaks down nucleotides into phosphate, sugar and different nitrogenous bases. ठीक है? Just remember that assimilation part starts from intestine, small and large intestine. All this will be absorbed with the help of villi and all this, and then will get into the blood to the rest part of the body cells. What is very important for the exam? The name of the enzymes and this main part which I've covered there. ठीक है? This part is clear, right? Actually, thing is that details of time लगता है, but actually, if the main part is that, are you okay with this part? This main part. This more comfortable? Okay. No, that's what I. Now when he said that, that's what I stopped there. Is it clear up to here? Now let me move into that. Just I'll take 5 minutes time, right? Now function I've given the absorption part, and then finally ficus. Ficus is formed and defecation happens, right? Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, right? It goes out to the body. The chymes dehydrated. Now what happened? Chyme. What I've said? Chyme will be where? Intestine. Now all the water is removed, dehydrated to form ficus, right? Ficus composition, what happened? Water, inorganic salt, epithelial cells, bacteria, byproduct digestion. Defecation is what? The movement out of the body which goes there, and is controlled by parasympathetic. Yes, sympathetic, parasympathetic. Parasympathetic control is a voluntary. Voluntary है, you know that, not involuntary. Involuntary हो गया तो बहुत खतरनाक होगा, right? Voluntary control happens, right? So it's voluntary control. You know, ficus which goes there. हाँ वो चला जाएगा, उसके अंदर बाहर चलेगा. Degraded hormones and all it goes there. It also goes there. Correct? ठीक है. Liver मैंने बता दिया. Bile juice, ADEK and all this. Now here, this can be a part of question in the exam. What role do your liver plays? One is that bile juice and all this. See, it detoxifies, removes toxins, right? Drugs and alcohols. You know that. What is the biological name of liver? Hepatic. Hepatic. ठीक है? So you know that when you take excessive alcohol, what happens? Liver cirrhosis. Liver get damaged. है ना? Then what happens? Drugs. Medicine, drugs can also do that. Stores what? Glycogen, I have missed. Insulin convert glucose into glycogen. Where it goes? Liver. Then vitamin A, D, E, K, fat soluble vitamin. Right, that comes. Then what comes? Iron and other minerals. Why iron and other minerals? I have explained. RBC is broken down, and iron is stored and again reused. Take, and remaining protein albumin react with globulin, then form biliverdin and bilirubin. Again, liver does that work. Then what comes? Cholesterol, LDL, HDL, that comes there. Then activates vitamin D, fetal RBC protection, very important point. Liver has a very important role in terms of child, the fetus. In the mother's fetus, that RBC is formed, and there the liver plays the role on that, not the bone marrow. Bone marrow comes later. Where is RBC is formed? Bone marrow. But in the child, in the fetus case, not child, fetus case, in the mother's fetus, it is the RBC formed in the liver. Again, the role of liver comes. Then what comes? Phagocytosis. It can also help in the part of phagocytosis. Why? Who will tell me? Doctor साहब को छोड़कर काय क्यों phagocytosis होगा? क्यों होगा ये? Spleen. There's something called spleen. Liver and spleen. And spleen is what? Lymph gland. What is spleen? Lymph gland. And what does the lymph gland contains? WBC, white blood cells. Right? Phagocytosis, eating away. That comes up. Right? Then what comes in? Metabolizes, absorb food molecule, carbohydrate, protein and all. So, what you get to understand? Liver has got multiple functions. बहुत सारे function है liver का. So when a question comes in the exam, objective type, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this part you have to know. Correct? This part comes. Now comes here, also respiration part. So what should we do there? चलो कोई बात नहीं. So this liver is there. We have next class. When in next class what I do, then because कुछ चीज़ में you have to cooperate with me. मैं ये human physiology part में जो important point है वो लिखवा दूँगा मैं. लेकिन plant physiology I'll give you the PowerPoint. Because there is only shoot system, stem system, different part. ठीक है तो उसमें ज़्यादा मैं I'll not go in the detection part. Photosynthesis again the basic thing you have to learn. And genetics part also in disorder part will come there. ठीक है? You want human physiology to be there so that this main part you can talk to, right? Plant physiology I'll give the part of it, right? So we'll continue with it, but again remember that. See, chemistry part will not take much time. Chemistry is very small part. Where we have to devote time? Physics. That is important because either the question from biology or the from physics part can be there. And again, I'll cover all the part of it from the exam point of view. Is it there? Right? All right. Dear friends, have good Sunday. एक गाना है Saturday, Sunday गाना नहीं. Saturday, this all happens there. No Sunday. Okay, anyway, have good Sunday. We'll meet again. फिर दोबारा मिलेंगे. सिद्धार्थ, ठीक है? दोबारा मिलेंगे. Okay. Thank you, everyone.